All right, we are live. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. And yeah, as the title suggests, and as all the faces you see on all these sexy superheroes, yeah, you can just see that we're going to be talking about Justice League. Not only Justice League, we're going to be talking about Zack Snyder's Justice League, the Snyder Cut. It is finally upon us. We probably already have our individual reviews up, and if we don't, they'll be up soon, I'm sure. But yeah, we're just going to kind of shoot the shit, talk a little bit about this new movie, this new version of a movie that we already saw, a fundamentally better film, in my opinion. And we're going to get into everybody's individual thoughts in just one moment. So I hope you guys stick around. But as the title suggests, please don't let yourself be that person who gets spoiled. We will be talking about spoilers 110%. We're going to be talking about this 4-hour epic from beginning to end. And we'll be getting into that right now. So if you do not want to be spoiled, please bounce out. Also, just so you guys know, the title and the thumbnail may change at some point during this video because we may be joined by Q Reviews himself because he is currently watching the movie and he is almost done with the movie. Couldn't join us right now because he said go ahead and get started, but he may jump in just a little bit. So if you're watching this after the fact and the thumbnail is already different and Q Reviews is in the thumbnail, then you guys can expect to see him pop up in here at some point.
Cool.
But yeah, to start this off, for anybody who has no idea why this is even a big deal, maybe you saw the Snyder Cut and you have no idea why everybody's freaking out. In 2017, we got the Justice League movie that was the first ever live-action Justice League film ever made, and it was supposed to be directed by Zack Snyder, who did Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman, and due to some tragedy in his family, with his daughter committing suicide, he had to leave the project. Joss Whedon, who directed the first two Avengers films and is also very well known for many other things like Buffy the Vampire Slayer and a lot of other great television, he was brought on board to finish the movie. Now, he was given all of the footage outside of one scene that was in this official Snyder Cut. But they cut it down to literally less than 2 hours, literally a minute under 2 hours with credits, which is just a shame that any Justice League film would ever be under 2 hours. So yeah, it was a mix of Joss Whedon being apparently a bit of an ass on set, his vision kind of clashing with what the studio told him to do, and at the end of the day, Zack Snyder's vision was completely and utterly destroyed. Now, we are going to start this off by talking about our individual thoughts. But before we get into that, let me introduce my guests. We have Blacktastic Media here, who you guys have seen in tons of my videos. Super, super happy to have him here. We got Mike from the Z Review, and we got Rashad G Reviews here as well. So a big thanks to you guys for joining me here in this video. Absolutely a pleasure to have you guys in a video at any point. Put this together a little last minute, but I'm genuinely happy that I got to get you guys here. And so, yeah, we'll go ahead and start off with Justice League 2017, the movie that we did officially end up getting. And I'll be honest, when the movie came out, I liked it. Was it epic? Was it the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life? No, but there was definitely some great moments. It kind of reminded me of one of the animated Disney, not Disney, one of the animated DC films. Yeah, it reminded me of an animated Disney film. It reminded me of one of the animated DC films where they kind of don't give you all the information. They kind of expect that you as an audience member are coming in with some kind of preset knowledge on these characters, and you're able to kind of fill in the holes. Now, I feel that translating that to live action, we usually expect a lot more development. And at the end of the day, when you look at something like, by the time we got Justice League, we were so far into something like the MCU, and I'm not going to sit here and compare, but you know, the Justice League is DC's version of the Avengers, and I just didn't feel that epicness that I felt from any of the Avengers films leading up to Justice League. But I did like it. I didn't hate it nearly as much as everybody else did, and I was not part of the Snyder Cut campaign, but I'm very happy that this happened. So let's go ahead and go around the table and ask everybody what your general thoughts are on that 2017 cut before we get into the Snyder Cut. So let's start with Blacktastic. What was your thoughts on the 2017 Justice League when you saw it?
Man, the whole family went, enjoyed the film, and usually on a film this big, when I got people with me, usually I do like a live on location video. I didn't do it. Then when I got home that night, I thought about it. I didn't do a review on the movie. I was conflicted because I heard so much about what was left out, and I seen in the trailers stuff that wasn't in the movie, and I was confused. And when my man had the whole mustache, situation, that whole snafu, it was in the beginning of the film. I was already like, damn, bad. And then I knew technically things were wrong with the film. The tone was off, the color palette was off, and I enjoyed it for the most part. I don't own it. I never bought it. I only watched it one time. And man, that's how I felt about the 2017 Justice League. It was just
Yeah,
all right.
I think that I definitely understand that for sure. And I totally forgot to mention the mustache thing. Yeah, we're going to get into that once we get into everybody's thoughts. But that has to be, without a doubt, one of the strangest decisions that they ever made. Because, again, like I said before, Joss Whedon had all of this footage outside of one scene. The epilogue of Zack Snyder's cut is the only thing that he shot once they announced they were going to, like, re-release this film like this. So to know that they had all of that footage and that they did what they did, you know, like right from the beginning, from that cell phone camera shot scene with the kids at the beginning of the movie, you see the lip just looks weird, and there's so many scenes like that. But let's continue on. Rashad, what is your thoughts on the 2017 film when you first saw it, and how have you felt with it all these years?
I was in the minority of people that actually enjoyed it. Like, I mean, like you, I'm a big fan of the DC animated joints, so it really put me in the mind of that. So watching all of my favorite characters, you know, Batman, Superman, everybody come to life, and minus the fucked up lip, I really had a good time with the movie. You know, I mean, yeah, it's not perfect by a long shot, but I had fun with it. It was a good popcorn joint. I came back, I shot my review for it, and this is like my first year, I think, doing YouTube. So I was like really ecstatic, like, oh my God, this is like the greatest thing ever. And then when I went and watched other reviews, it was like, man, this movie was garbage. It was trash. Anybody that says it's a good movie, something's wrong with you. So I'm like, shit. I'm like, maybe I don't, maybe I'm not good at critiquing movies, man, because I enjoyed it. So, you know what I mean? I had my problems with, you know, Steppenwolf. I thought looked like crap. You know, the lip. It felt like it was kind of all over the place at times. Like you could tell two directors made the movie. You know what I mean? Right. But overall, man, I had a good time with it. You know, I rewatched it after I watched the Snyder Cut. I went back and rewatched it again. And I guess I can get to that later, but I'm like, damn, there were some scenes I wish I could have took from that version and put it into the Snyder Cut to really make it complete, like to make my own personal favorite version of the movie. Because there were things I did like about 2017's that wasn't in the new one. And that's all I got to say about that. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, I can agree. There's definitely some little moments that Joss Whedon added that not all of it was absolutely terrible. There's definitely a lot of it that just doesn't feel like it needs to be there at all, especially after seeing this version. But what about you, Mike? The Z review. Let's hear what your thoughts were on this, because I know you're a huge DC guy, as you can tell from your Batcave thing in the background and your Joker shirt and your Batman tattoo and your Joker tattoo. I think you're a little bit of a DC fan.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit, yeah. Well, firstly, man, thanks for having me on the live stream. Really appreciate it. So yeah, when I actually saw this in 2017, I actually enjoyed it. So back then I wasn't on YouTube, wasn't doing reviews, and whenever I went to this cinema or theater, you guys call it, I went with my nephew. So we always go see like DC, Marvel films, whatever. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. I didn't really know much about Zack Snyder and like much about directors and stuff back then because I didn't like research that stuff a lot. And it was just awesome because I didn't really mind Batman v Superman. I might be in the small majority there. I wasn't too bad. So I was excited for the Justice League. I felt like there was a little bit of under character development though in that movie. Because obviously we got introduced to Cyborg, Flash, and Aquaman, I believe. And I was just like, okay, well, who are these guys? I don't know about you guys, but I didn't read a lot of comics and stuff, so I don't know a lot about the DC universe. My young brother knows more than me, probably. But yeah, overall, man, I did enjoy it. But after seeing the Snyder Cut, the 2017 one sucks.
Yeah, it's hard to not see it that way, right? And let's just jump straight into it with the Snyder Cut. And so we'll do our best to try not to cut each other off. For anybody who's listening and watching, it's going to happen. It's inevitable. We'll do our best to manage it. But yeah, you hit the nail right on the head as far as the topic of character development. When I saw Batman versus Superman, I was really disappointed the first time I saw it, and I liked it. I was so conflicted because I thought it was beautifully shot, beautifully acted, very well put together film. Yeah, but I just felt like they were cramming in a shit ton of stuff to set up for future movies. You know, we got the little cameos of Aquaman and Flash and Cyborg, all these things, and I was like, okay, there's a lot packed in here that wasn't really paid off, but I'm excited to see where they take it. And then when you watch the Justice League film, as much as I enjoyed it for what it was, undoubtedly, again, it kind of goes back to what I was saying, where they kind of assume that you as an audience member are going to fill in those holes. When you watch that movie, Aquaman, because now we have an Aquaman movie that has fleshed him out. So it's kind of funny to watch it in reverse now, where we've had 2 Wonder Woman movies, and then we've had an Aquaman movie where we've now been able to like take that character development and kind of bring it backwards, even though that's not really how it works in the story. But like, yeah, at the time, you know, you just have sexy ass Jason Momoa as Aquaman. You got Ray Fisher doing his thing as Cyborg. Yeah, you got all these people playing these roles that were all great, but they did nothing with them. They did nothing with them as far as like character development. And I remember the one scene that made me think, oh, this is kind of like an animated movie in the DC universe, was the scene that we also see in this movie, which is where Flash and Cyborg are digging up they're digging up Superman's grave, and it's not, this line is not in this version of the film in the Snyder Cut version, but he literally says to the Flash says to Cyborg, he's like, "Oh yeah, we're the accidents," you know what I mean? Like we're the mistakes or something, to kind of just let you as the audience know, like, oh, these two had some sort of accident that gave them their abilities, and yeah, they just did not do enough with the character development of all those characters. So yeah, I think it's pretty clear that we all are fans. It looks like Mike may have frozen. I'm not too sure. Is he frozen on your side?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's frozen.
Okay,
he's gone.
So now he's gone.
Yeah, technical difficulties. Gotta love it. He'll probably hop back in here in a second.
Damn Wi-Fi.
Cool. It happens. I was gonna say, you guys saw recently. I maybe or not. I happened to me in one of my latest live streams, and my guest was left alone here. He was kind of nervous. Yeah, it made for a little bit of a. I felt bad. But so if it happens to me, you know, guys, just keep going. I know you guys know how to keep moving. But yeah, I loved the Snyder Cut. Absolutely loved it. Yeah, he said that he's coming back now that his internet went out. So yeah, I absolutely loved the Snyder Cut. I had a great time with it. I genuinely felt like it was just a far better film, like so beyond. So let's start with Rashad. Like, what are your thoughts now, having seen the Snyder Cut? Did it live up to your expectations? And were you at all in any way, shape, or form part of the whole release the Snyder Cut movement? Because I know I wasn't. I never thought this would happen.
Yeah, well, I thought the movie actually sucked. Let me start. Yeah, I wasn't part of the whole release the Snyder Cut movement, but like you, I wasn't opposed to it. I said, okay, I did like the original version, and I said, okay, I'm always interested to see a director's cut, so you can see the director's full vision of a movie. Like, I've always been that way. So was I about it? Nah, but if it dropped, am I going to watch it? Hell yeah. And it lived up to expectations. I think it exceeded expectations. You know, it's almost a completely different movie, but at the same time, it has damn near all the same scenes from the other one. But just the way it was edited and pieced together, you know, everything fits now. And like you said, it's all fleshed out. You know what I mean? And the improvements from fixing Superman's mouth to Steppenwolf, he's like a lot more menacing looking this time. We get Darkseid in here. So if you're a DC fan, like, this is like a DC fan's wet dream. You know what I mean? Like, this movie gave you everything, and the 4-hour runtime didn't bother me at all. Like, at the end, to be honest with you, at the end, I wanted more. I was like, damn, I want to see more of this. I want to see the sequel now. You know what I mean? So, okay. Can I get into gripes now? We're gonna say that for later.
Yeah, you can talk about whatever you want. We're gonna shoot shit and just get into it.
All right. So yeah, if I have any gripes, this is just the critic in me coming out. But if I have any gripes about the movie, I feel like we didn't get a whole lot of Batman. We got a lot more Bruce Wayne than Batman, because we don't actually see Batman until like maybe 2 hours into it, I think. You know, Batman's not really in there, as opposed to the 2017 one. The movie starts out with Batman fucking up parademons. And I'm like, shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, we get to see Batman do Batman shit. And then Superman, of course, doesn't show up to like about 3 hours in. So our favorite heroes don't really show up to like a lot later. But I guess, you know, because they had to really get into Cyborg and the Flash, you know what I'm saying? These are new characters now, and they had to introduce us to them, you know. So I guess I understand why they did that. But just being a fan of Batman and Superman, I just wanted to see more of them in action. But that's just little nitpicks. I still loved it, though. And I'll watch it again. I watched it twice already.
Yeah,
watched it twice. Yeah, then I watched the 2017 one again, and I'll be watching it again soon. I love the fucking movie. What can I say?
No, it was really good, man. It was an incredibly well put together film that just, it's crazy. It was so crazy too to see it and like remember all these sequences from the original cut and how much they're expanded upon, and even the scenes that are done similarly are done so much better. And my only real gripes with it are a couple of scenes that felt a little longer than they need to be, or things that could have been cut out. A scene that for me just felt like a setup scene for future that just didn't really need to be there was the Flash going to save Iris West, who, you know, it's like a love interest. It's from the comic books. There's a big love arc on the TV show and all that kind of stuff. She's a big character. We already know that that's the actress who's playing her in the Flash movie. So they kind of just sprinkled her in there for that one scene that she's in there with the hot dog and whatever.
Oh wait, can I say one more thing though? Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Good.
No, go ahead.
Oh no, yeah, I just want to end off with this. Yeah, so also. I know you're gonna say something about this, Perez, but Wonder Woman. Now, I was disappointed in Wonder Woman 84. I thought they went the Superman 3 route and made it camp. You know what I'm saying? So the Wonder Woman action in this movie, the way Wonder Woman was in this movie, she didn't play around. She would use that sword. She will fuck you up. And I'm like, that's the Wonder Woman that I wanted. Yeah, that 84 shit, scrap it. Give me that one. Give me that Diana Prince right there that we saw in this movie. And that's it. That's all.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed the action in this, and I love the fact that the movie was rated R. They didn't overdo it, but like, you know, there was those moments in that early scene where she's stopping the terrorists and she like punches that one guy and he like flies up against the wall and there's big blood splatter. I sat up because I looked at my fiance. I go, oh my god, I forgot this is rated R. And then later on, Batman's like, fuck, and I'm like, fuck yeah, hell yeah, like we're just getting it now. But before we continue talking about it, let's get back to the initial thoughts. Blacktastic, let's hear your thoughts on the movie now, being able to have seen the entire thing.
Oh, most definitely. Rashad G, motherfucker. You light-skinned black motherfucker. You took my thunder. You said exactly what I'm going to say about Wonder Woman. The first thing this movie did for me, forget 2017 Justice League. This redeemed Wonder Woman and that shit went in between called 1984. I was happy to see it, but I was disappointed. I'm like, man, Wonder Woman took a step down. In Justice League 2021, the Snyderverse, man, Wonder Woman was back to being a badass. She was a warrior. She was an Amazon. She had that old school armor on. And man, in the end, again, Wonder Woman damn near steals the show. She was phenomenal in this movie. And that's what I missed. And compared to the 2017 version, it's miles in comparison of the action. I mean, I don't know what was wrong with Josh Whedon. I know he had studio mandates, but man, you don't chop up a movie that beautiful. I wouldn't even did the project. If I would have seen what I seen on the cutting floor, I'd be like, man, I can't in my humble abode and really tear down another man's film like this. That's horrible what they did to that film. And Cyborg, you know, I'm precious when it comes to our black characters, man. Dude, no wonder he was pissed off and said all those nasty things about Josh Whedon. I get it. He cut his whole arc out of the film and backstory. And not to mention, people complained about Josh Whedon in the past back on Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
They said he pushed people too hard. So he had this reputation to begin with. And he went in there and just really did a poor pitch job, man, of taking somebody's art and throwing it to the side, man. That really hurt my feelings. When I seen this movie, how could you as a director do what you did? I'm glad he's vindicated. The man with a horrible loss, he had to walk away. And this movie probably could have been 3.5 hours. They would have trimmed it up a little bit, the original version. They would have did it right, but I get it. Warner Brothers was chasing Marvel, and they made an ass of themselves doing it. But this movie, man, I know COVID-19 has been tough on everybody. This was a great weekend to have Falcon, and you had the Winter Soldier, and you had this come out the same weekend. This was a movie guy's dream because we can't go to the theaters yet. So this was like being at home, having a double feature. But this is one of my top favorite superhero movies of all time, man. I'm still a fan of the original Christopher Reeve Superman from 1978. I love the Avengers. I love the first Iron Man. And I love this Justice League. I liked Batman v Superman. I liked it a lot, actually. So I wasn't so upset when Batman wasn't in it enough, because he was in that last movie a lot. I mean, his name came first before Superman, and Superman already had a movie. he makes a great Bruce Wayne, and I was engaged with his conversations with the league, talking to Alfred. Man, Ben Affleck is a hell of an actor. And when he became Batman later on, like 2 hours into the movie, man, I was like, can't be real, man. I love the effects. I love the slow-mo, because most action films, they cut so quick you don't know what's going on. With Zack Snyder, you see everything. Everything is crisp, it's clear. It looks like a comic book lifted and put on the screen, man. This was a work of art. I loved it.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, man. This has got to be one of my favorite comic book movies of all time.
Yeah.
And I was like really debating on it, whether or not it's my favorite DCEU film. And I almost feel like it has an unfair advantage because of how long it is, how big and epic it is. It's just so unprecedented that we would ever get a movie like this. And like you said, we probably would have got a much shorter version had it actually made the theater. You know what I mean? So I am very like, it's sad because of the events that unfolded that led us to getting this movie like this. But if anything, I'm just grateful that we got to see Zack Snyder's full vision, and hopefully DC and studio execs just start to like really listen to this kind of stuff. That it's not the 70s, it's not the 80s, the 90s, it's not even the early 2000s. Like at this point, comic book fans and movie fans, we know what we want, and I'm not saying cater to the fans, but like, for epics like this, for Endgame, for Justice League, for these huge characters, people will go. They will sit in a theater for 4 hours and do it. We would have all been there. We would have sat there, and the intermission would have come up. We would have all taken our piss, gotten some popcorn and some soda, and come right back and been ready to keep going. And it's, at the end of the day, man, it just blows my mind. And we're going to get further into it right now. I want to ask Mike about your thoughts really quickly, but I do want to say there is absolutely no question. When you start hearing all those rumors and discussions, Ray Fisher was talking about, like some racism and some abuse and stuff on set from Joss Whedon, and the other things that we heard about Joss Whedon. You can only listen to it, read it, and you hope that it's not really true. Like, wow, that sucks that it really happened to him. There is zero doubt in my mind that there was a complete and utter malicious attempt to cut out everything Cyborg in the film, because at the end of the day, honestly, when I think about the movie, there's great action, there's great character moments for everybody. Cyborg is the heart of the film. For me, he was the heart of the film, and I think there is undeniably there's no denying the fact that Joss Whedon purposely set out to take out everything he could of Cyborg, which in the end of the day crippled the film. But before we get into all of that, Mike, let's hear your thoughts on the Snyder Cut finally being able to see it.
Yeah, so just watched this for the first time tonight. So might be why I've got a bit tired eyes, as you can tell. But yeah, so
smoking that shit. I'm lying. Don't lie.
No, honestly, this film, I just loved it. One big thing I noticed is that in the 2021 version, that actually made the Justice League look credible, where I felt like in the 2017 version, like the Justice League got the ass whooped to them, like in every opportunity against Steppenwolf, and they needed Superman purposely for that fight. And again, they made like Wonder Woman look weak, Cyborg, Flash, Aquaman, and it's just like Superman was the only reliable hero to actually beat him. Whereas in this movie, they made it so all the Justice League were actually a threat to Steppenwolf, and Superman was kind of like just there to finish the job as such at the end. So I really like that about that. And as you guys mentioned about Cyborg, like the backstory with him was just really good. I like that he actually got a backstory, and we learned a lot about his character. Even the bit where you mentioned, Perez, about the Flash, and like in terms of like kind of the cutting out the time part of that scene. I really like that bit, because when the Flash is saving Iris, I just like how when he's in the pet store and he comes out, like the CG effect just shows his shoes actually come off because of the effect of how quick he's going. And just that minor little tiny detail, I just thought, wow, well, that actually is realistic, because he's going that fast, the shoes are going to burn off.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I think if anything, the best part about that sequence, for sure, were the effects, like him like poking the glass and to make himself like go through, like kind of like sliding on the ground, but he's going so fast that it's kind of like ripping the ground up. You know what I mean? Like on a visual effects level, for sure, it was dope. I just think when I look back at the whole movie in and of itself, I'm like, that's one scene that, like, you know, out of 4 hours that I probably could have done without. But I think it almost kind of, if anything, you kind of need it to kind of like really understand how fast this man is for that end sequence with him to really come into play, because that's a huge thing. But now that we've all given our thoughts, let's start from the very beginning, right? The thing that shocked me right out of the gate, and I looked over at my fiance when this movie started, and I was just like, yes, was the very beginning of the movie. These Joss Whedon cut of the film starts with this, you know, this kind of like thug or gangster guy that's, you know, like this criminal that's on top of the roof. He comes across Batman. Batman uses him as bait for the parademon so he can try to figure out about the whole mother box thing. But this one opens up with this great slow-mo thing of the end of Batman versus Superman. And I got to say, this movie for me really retroactively made me love Batman versus Superman a lot more. And I felt like a genuine trilogy now with Man of Steel, Batman versus Superman, and now this, where being able to just start it off with that, I think was so much more, it really laid the groundwork for the fact that Superman was such a small part of the film, but his essence is completely laid over the entire film, even though he's only in it for such a small period of time. And so I guess let's start with that. But what did you guys think? Anybody who wants to hop in at this point, you know, what did you guys think about the intro? Did you prefer the intro with Batman kind of like, you know, trying to get the parody, or did you enjoy being able to see kind of like the movie starting with the end of Batman versus Superman and then leading us into, you know, Bruce Wayne searching for Aquaman and the others?
Can I give a quick
I prefer the way it began this time, because it feels like it's a continuation from BVS. And honestly, I didn't like BVS, but now the Ultimate Edition I did like, you know, the extended where it's like 3 hours long. I like that one a lot better because similar to this one, it gives more, you know, more context to what's going on. Whereas before it's just like, I don't know what this shit is about. So Ultimate Edition BVS, and the way this opened up, I'm like, okay, it's a continuation of that. And like you said, it feels like a trilogy, you know, Man of Steel, BVS, and then this. So yeah. But however, I wish I could take that parademon scene from the 2017 one and kind of throw it in there a little bit just to show Batman's badassery. You know what I'm saying? I love when Batman's kicking ass. Like the highlight of BVS was the warehouse scene. I can watch that shit over and over again. Like I can't get enough of seeing Batman fuck people up. So I feel like we did need that, not so much in the beginning, but I feel like we did need that in there somewhere.
For sure. What were you going to say, Mike? I saw that you wanted to say something as well.
Yeah, well, kind of just what Rashad's added to, he's beat me to it, really. So no, man, it's cool. So I love the opening of the 2021 version. I thought that the actual reminder of Batman v Superman was really good because I haven't seen Batman v Superman since like the Ultimate Edition, so it's been a while. But as Rashad said, I like the Batman with the demon scene in the beginning because it was just set as like a dark, grittier tone at the beginning of the 2017 version. And I just felt like before Batman assembles the Justice League, it would have been cool for him just to do like his own like little investigation. And again, like Rashad said, just that quick scene to show him before he actually gets into costume, like Blacktastic mentioned, like 2 hours into the film. As such, I felt like it could have added to it a bit extra.
For sure. What about you, Blacktastic? What did you think? Do you feel like we should have kept that scene in there somewhere?
Oh, I agree. The only thing I didn't like about that scene with the parademon, when he exploded, they showed the 3 mother boxes, and how they introduced the boxes in the 2017 version was kind of lame. The way they did it in this one, when Wonder Woman did that whole backstory, it made sense. I didn't know this is a planet he didn't conquer before. I didn't understand that, you know, they're afraid of Superman. I never got that feeling in the 2017 version. And like Rashad said in the opening, when he screams and his echoes goes throughout the whole planet, the whole universe, I never felt Superman lingering in the first episode in 2017. And this one, that image stayed in my heart, man, when his chest was open up and he was yelling with his arms spread apart and was going, I'm like, man, this is epic. Superman is gone. And you see the black flag waving only in the 2017 version. That was it. And that bad CGI with the cell phone thing. So For the first time, I felt the weight of Superman's death. I felt the weight. And when they did a little retread and showed the ending of BVS, the look on Batman's face when Superman died was priceless. That's great acting. He didn't say anything. He just looked with that cowl on his face. I'm like, man. Batman was like, shit, I fucked up. But it was heavy. They heard it in Atlantis. They heard it over there where the Amazon women are at. That scream was heard through the whole world and felt through the whole world. And then his scream is what activated the mother boxes. So the aliens are like, oh shit, Superman is dead. There's no Kryptonian. Let's go get Earth. Totally changed the whole epic of the movie from the very beginning.
Absolutely, yeah. No, you don't get any of that in the 2017 cut of the film,
Hell no.
and it's just completely and utterly not there. And another huge element, you know, we've talked about Cyborg, we've talked about these different things. I also want to make a quick comment because you guys have, all three of you guys have said it, but man, Ben Affleck as Batman, I mean, and Bruce Wayne, he's great, man. Like, I think people were so shitting on him initially, and I always said that he was my favorite part of Batman versus Superman. But man, he in this movie, he is great, man. And it is a damn shame. Like, I'm looking forward to this Robert Pattinson Batman. It looks good. I love Matt Reeves as a director. But can you imagine if we would have been getting whatever that movie is, but with Ben Affleck Batman? Man, I really hope that he hears all this positive feedback and just, like, you know, kind of is like, all right, you know, maybe I kind of stepped away from this a little too soon, because he can really give us some incredible stuff. Now, something I want to talk about that is, hold on real quick. I see we got Q reviews in here saying Batman kind of laid back in this one. Q, you got to get in here, man. I sent you the link on Facebook, bro. Join us, please.
Yeah, don't be shy.
But yeah, no, I really enjoyed Batman in this movie. I enjoyed everybody, but yeah, it's crazy. Two things that I want to talk about, and so we'll go around again, and I want to know. First of all, how just epic it was to include, finally, it just adds so much more to the story, adding Darkseid to the story and that whole relationship of Steppenwolf, like, kind of like, you know, trying to win back his honor, and, you know, and the other one was just like, I'm bad guy and I want to take over the world the other bad guy, but you don't see the other bad guy. And it kind of took away from that nightmare sequence that you see in Batman vs Superman, and now all this, it brought it full circle. Yep. By the way, I don't know if you guys are hearing. There's some sort of echo.
Yeah, I'm hearing some feedback. What is that?
I think it might be on Blacktastic side. I don't know if you had some headphones. That might be it. I don't hear it now, but there was a little bit of it.
Okay.
But yeah, so Darkseid being in the story just made it fundamentally better for me as far as the narrative, and really fleshing out Steppenwolf's narrative. And then I also want a smaller part of the movie that was added in that I kind of feel was kind of just tacked on a little bit. Was Martian Manhunter, which probably had the weakest CG in the film for me. So let's start with Rashad. What were your thoughts on Darkseid being added to this cut of the film, and the whole thing with Martian Manhunter?
Darkseid was necessary. Like, he's the Thanos of the DC universe, man. We needed him. You know, Steppenwolf is almost kind of similar to what's the Guardians of the Galaxy villain? Ronan, okay, like Ronan the Accuser and Thanos, you know what I'm saying? Same thing. Ronan the Accuser was like that motherfucker, but then Thanos is like the real big bad guy. So yeah, Darkseid was necessary. As far as Martian Manhunter, yeah, I felt like I understood why he was cut out the original version. He really served no purpose, you know. That's just my personal opinion, but it was cool to see him. CG was suspect. It was. But just the fact that Martian Manhunter was in the Justice League movie, I was like, all right, whatever, man. I'll roll with it. Fuck it. I said, I love this movie so much. You know what? I'm not gonna let that ruin how I feel about it. But Darkseid, it was cool to see him, but I feel like he just didn't have that same menace like Thanos did. You know what I'm saying? Like, Thanos, right away, you knew he was somebody that you would, you don't fuck with. When we see Darkseid in battle, he gets his ass handed to him by Ares. You know what I'm saying? When he got that axe to the fucking, and it almost killed him. You know what I mean? So if we're introduced to the big baddie, we got to see him really make an example, like how Thanos fucked up the Hulk, my boy. Anyways, yeah, we needed a scene like that to really establish how bad Darkseid was, and they didn't really give us that, but it was still cool to see him, though.
No, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I definitely agree with what you're saying. Well, what about you, Blacktastic?
Man, he was definitely an added element that made this movie more villainous, more impactful. And Steppenwolf, he looked bad in the first movie, but I thought he was kind of a threat. In this one, they gave him more dialogue. His armor was off the chain. He made me afraid of him in this one because he was giving them the business. This man's catching missiles, and okay, I mean, you can have this right back. Boom, let them go. Like they did in the first one. But in this one, Steppenwolf, when he went to a Wonder Woman's old pad where her mom and stuff is at, he was tearing that place up. The whole chase with the Amazonians he was knocking over horses. I'm like, this dude is bad. And he's scared of, my man Darkseid. He kneels down to him. You know that brother's bad. It's a matter of time when he comes to Earth. And that's why like the epilogue so much, because if Darkseid took over and Earth is all red and beat up and Batman's wearing a leather jacket and goggles, I'm like, Earth's got to be gone to shit because Darkseid finally came. So I like the fact that you got a little taste of what he is. Now, Martian Manhunter, I don't read comics. I never, ever read comics my whole life. So I heard of him. Man, I didn't know what his powers was until I seen this movie. I guess he can morph into anybody. So the cool thing was it tied in Man of Steel and Batman v Superman all in one with him showing up. So I guess it wasn't much, but for me, I don't know who the dude was, but he looked cool, and I guess mainly he's the black brother from Man of Steel. So I guess
I forgot about that. Okay, yeah.
So the military dude, it ties them all in. So he's been watching this go along since the first alien came, which is basically Clark. So you got alien watching aliens watching aliens. That's a cool aspect of this film.
Yeah, for sure. He's definitely, that's kind of his character in a lot of iterations, is he's kind of like this. He comes down and in different comics and different stories will take him in different directions, but he usually is in some sort of military position where he is like, like pretending to be a human. In the Supergirl TV show, he's one of the biggest parts of that show. And at the beginning, when we're first introduced to him, he's the director, the head of this thing called the DEO, which is kind of like this alien, it's like an alien military group that they kind of oversee alien activity and all that kind of stuff. So he is pretending to be a human at the top of this alien military group to kind of oversee it, make sure there's not anything that goes wrong with any sort of violence towards aliens. He's kind of there to kind of keep the peace and kind of he knows how to handle it. So yeah, they could do some cool stuff with Martian Manhunter. I just kind of wish that they would have done, if he would have shown up there in that final fight, I feel like it would have been epic. But what they did was cool. I just feel like they could have done a little bit more there.
Right.
What about you, Michael? What were your thoughts on Darkseid and Martian Manhunter being included in this version?
Yeah. So I'll start with Martian Manhunter. So a bit like Blacktastic, I've never read comics. I've only known about Martian Manhunter through the Lego Batman game on the PlayStation. So I know a little bit about him, but not a lot. So I thought it was cool that they include him in this. I felt like it depends how they're going to use him going forward.
Right.
And if they're going to do the Snyderverse again, or if it's just going to be this one movie, or whoever takes over the helm, how they use him, I think it could be a good factor into it, depending on what they're doing with Ben Affleck again, as you mentioned. So overall, I didn't mind him. I thought his appearance was quite cool. At least we get another hero added to the Justice League as such. In terms of Steppenwolf, loved him. I thought he was fantastic. I actually felt sorry for him. I felt obviously he was doing all this for Darkseid. I guess one thing I would say is we didn't actually learn as to why he betrayed Darkseid.
It's a good question.
Oh,
yeah.
I've read up a little bit afterwards. I don't know if it's because he tried to take the mantle or challenge Darkseid at one point. I'm not sure on that one. But overall, I thought it was fantastic. We got a bit more depth to his character. He wasn't just typical big bad guy who wanted to get these mother boxes. It was actually explained why he wanted those mother boxes and the debt he owed to Darkseid as well.
Yeah.
And I just felt sorry for him. I was like, let the guy live, let him go home to his family.
No, yeah, for sure. Well, yeah, it seems like we're all on the same page, right? The dark side was just this element that just added so much more to the story, gave so much more depth to Steppenwolf's character and his motivations. Then you also have just, Martian Manhunter just being an okay part of the movie. But I guess something that I want to ask you guys now is moving forward, there has been discussion about this might be the last thing that Snyder does. That this might be the only thing that he might just wrap it up here, and that they may not even move forward with the Snyderverse. Like this may just be the cut of the film that we can watch and we can kind of have as a headcanon, but that the future films wouldn't tie into it. Now, I have to imagine that Warner Brothers executives are like this right now with their phone as they're seeing the positive reaction. So my question to you guys is, what do you guys think will come from this? Do you think they'll bring Zack Snyder in again for future films? And do you guys want that? Do you guys want this to be the version that plays off? Is this version canon in your head version versus the other one? And how will you feel if they don't go in this direction, if they just leave it with what we saw in this movie and just kind of have it be its own thing? Anybody can answer for anybody who has something.
Well, supply and demand, you know what I'm saying? Supply and demand. The fans want it. You got to give it to us. You know what I mean? So do I see them going that route? I don't know. Warner Brothers can be assholes sometimes. Even if the fans really want it, they say, well, we don't care. We're going to go in this direction anyway. So hopefully they do. But if they don't, give it to us in some form of media, whether it be animation, movie, or a graphic novel. Because I do want to see the continuation of the story. The way it ended, I said, damn, we have to get a sequel. But I know Zack Snyder and Warner Brothers are not exactly on the best of terms right now. So I don't know. That's a tough one, man. I hope it happens.
Things might be different, man. I hope so. I agree with you, man. It's just Zack Snyder had a plan to do 5 films. It was Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and 3 Justice League movies. That was his dream to do. So he got lucky this time because the movie was already done. They gave him $70 more million to make it work. This weekend will determine if Warner Brothers and Zack Snyder shake hands, be friends again, because he is the man of the hour right now. He's getting his 15 minutes of fame all over again, and everybody loves a good story of a man getting redemption. It's like Rocky, the man got redeemed, and either you love him or hate him, you gotta feel good for the fact that his dream came true, man. I mean, I was almost in tears at the end of this film. I'm like, man, this was the part he dedicated to his daughter Autumn. Man, I lost it. I was like, oh man, this dude sacrificed his daughter to try to get this film done. Ignoring, when you ignoring your wife and you're always out of town and stuff, you can't really watch your family because the way you want to, and because you're rich don't mean nothing. I mean, misery and depression can be in anybody's life. So this movie took a toll on him and his family. And Warner Brothers, they went the route of trying to use another director. He fucked it up. But one thing about Warner Brothers, they always hit and miss. Now the new Joker movie did well. Hopefully the new Batman movie do well. But honestly, in this verse of Snyder's, I can see Shazam fitting in here. And I'm pretty sure Gal Gadot likes the way she looks as a Wonder Woman under his will, because she was great in BVS. She was great in that movie. All the Diana scenes, I like the fact that they call her Diana too. It just the little small nuances that Zack Snyder does are undeniable. And Warner Brothers, look, COVID changed the game, brother. So if this movie does well, it already crashed HBO Max once this weekend. It crashed.
I heard that.
Yeah. So, and they don't have the same kind of plug as Netflix and Disney Plus. They don't have people overseas that can watch this film. So if it does well here, and then Zack Snyder got a contract with Netflix with his new film coming out in a couple of months, they might be kind of thinking like, you know what? Let's mend fences, man. So the fact that they gave him $70 million to finish shows promise. I think that relationship can heal over time. And this weekend would be the defining fact whether they shake hands and be friends. Because we want the rest of this story, man. It looks epic.
For sure. What about you, Mike?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Very torn. So it kind of a little bit about what Blacktastic said, being honest. So I hope that we do get more Zack Snyder, because I felt like Man of Steel was awesome. That's one of my favorite Superman movies. Henry Cavill, I think, is just great in the role, apart from Christopher Reeves. And Batman v Superman, as I touched on already, and I thought that was a good movie for the time. I still like it to now. And just proving that this Justice League is just far superior than the 2017 one. And I like the rated R tone as well. Like I was saying to Perez before the live stream, that my favorite like DC movies are like the darker toned movies. I think that's where DC excel in more than Marvel.
Yep.
And I like that it was showcased here. And I just think it depends on the director, because like nowadays the DC movies seem to be going for a lot more comedy and light-hearted stuff. And I like it, don't get me wrong. Like Aquaman, I like the first Wonder Woman. The second one, debatable. but like you guys already said, with this Justice League film, I felt like Diana was really redeemed in this. She came across as a badass. He didn't want to mess with her. She just looked really fierce and came across that way. And I think with his vision of this Justice League, and obviously with Ben Affleck and obviously Jared Leto come back in the epilogue scene, I feel like he has to come back to complete those 3 Justice League movies, as Blacktastic said, because I read online that apparently that with the 3 Justice League movies he was planning to make, I don't know if Superman was going to have a son who was going to be the new Batman by the end of the 3rd Justice League, from like rumors I heard, which we see like a pregnancy test in Lois Lane's drawer in the new one.
That's right.
So I just really would like to see his vision and how that would play out in the DC, because if we don't, how they're going to explain Batman's disappearance of Ben Affleck, I don't know. I'm just torn about it.
Yeah, I am very curious to see what they do moving forward, because I do want to see. I want to see this next Zack Snyder's world continue on, and we know already because of the epilogue where things are going to go. We know how things are going to get, and I do want to talk about Jared Leto's Joker in just one moment with his return to the franchise after being crapped on by so many people. What I'll say right now on that is that in Suicide Squad, I liked him, and Joker is one of my favorite comic book characters of all time. I have him tattooed on my leg. I haven't got him colored in yet, but I got him tattooed on my leg. I love the Joker, and so I'm always open to new interpretations, whether it's animated stuff. Like he literally has a Joker tattooed on his arm right there.
Oh shit, good shit.
Whether it's in movies or in video games or in cartoons, or whether it's Mark Hamill or Heath Ledger or Jack Nicholson, I just love seeing different interpretations of the character because he's done so differently. So it's like like people were like tripping about like the tattoos and stuff when the trailers came out for Suicide Squad and the pictures. Whereas I think about like there's a comic book line where Joker has this huge freaking dragon tattoo on his back. Like it's just like there have been different takes on the character, and I don't know. He wasn't given a lot to do in the writing, but I thought he was pretty cool and like weird, and like I think that's what the Joker can be, is a mix of cool and weird, and kind of like I don't want, like he kind of gave me that presence of like I wouldn't want to be in the room with that guy, and I think that's kind of what the Joker should kind of do. So yeah, we'll go around in a second and talk about our thoughts on the short scene that we got with Jared Leto, where he kind of gave a bit of a different interpretation on the Joker this time around. I liked it, but I almost feel like they could have just left him out. I feel like the epilogue overall, if anything, the movie could have ended for me with the whole Martian Manhunter coming to see Bruce Wayne and thing, because the epilogue is cool, but I feel like if we're not going to get those sequels, it's like you just tickled my balls for nothing, and there's really no
blue balls.
Epilogue.
Yes.
And I just kind of sat there like I couldn't help but think that. And just one more comment on like the moving forward thing from here is like apparently they're going to be opening the multiverse, which is the best way for them to be able to make as many movies as they want. And bring them together whenever they want, right? So the rumor is, or at least the stuff that they've already confirmed, is that for instance, the Flash movie is going to have Michael Keaton's Batman in it with Ezra Miller's Flash. I don't know if you guys know about this. So they're doing the Ezra Miller's Flash movie that's going to open the multiverse. Michael Keaton's coming back to play his version of Bruce Wayne and Batman, and so is Ben Affleck as Batman. So to know that we're going to have two Batmans in the same movie, which could also mean that Robert Pattinson could show up, and if the paycheck is big enough, maybe Christian Bale could show up, and we can have these various versions of the same character appearing together. That'd be awesome. And Mike did mention, I do want to refer to that, they have come out and said that, you were right, that the plan was for Lois and Clark's son to take on the mantle of Batman in one of the future Zack Snyder films. So that would have been really cool. There would have been a lot of time. It would have been a very different kind of set of movies. It would have really stood out different compared to what Marvel's done with the more linear storytelling that kind of jumps around here and there. But with with these, it would have just really jumped into impending doom and different timelines. We could see flashback and flash forwards, and they could do something super, super cool with this Snyderverse. And I'm very much looking forward to all of that. So, I also agree that we could definitely have seen Shazam in this. Obviously they had already filmed this movie, but I would love to see these various characters that they're going to start introducing appear with all these characters that we know and love. You know what I mean? Especially as we open up the multiverse. And, I believe Shazam is in the same universe as the Snyderverse, because we see Superman at the very end. We don't see his face, but you see Superman show up to at the very end. The one thing that is very strange to me about Shazam, though, and I am very curious to see how they contextualize that as time goes on, is that in that movie, I don't know if you guys remember, they have Batman toys and Superman toys. People are walking around with the Aquaman logo T-shirts and Superman T-shirts, Batman T-shirts. The kid that's with is Billy's friend, the one that he lives with, his brother, his foster brother, he has a Batarang. So these characters are almost popular, they're almost like the boys or something in the Justice League universe. So what are you guys' thoughts on everything that I just said? Jared Leto and all that other stuff moving forward, these other characters, Batman, Michael Keaton being in the Flash movie. It's a lot of information I just shot out here because I like to talk fast. But let's go ahead. Let's start with Mike this time. What are your thoughts on Jared Leto and everything else I just mentioned?
A lot you mentioned, so I've got to try cover all that. So I think I agree for most part. I think the best way going forward would be to open the multiverse straight away, just get it out the way with, because with Marvel, they've got such a unique storyline where they've built it all up over the last 10 plus years now to get to where they are. Whereas DC, it seems as if they can't keep an actor or actress. So I feel like if they open up the multiverse, then they can introduce all these Batmans or Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. For example, if Jared Leto drops out or they're not going to use him again, they've at least got a backup there already. And so I think with the contract situation, because I think there was discussions about Henry Cavill maybe not even come back as Superman. So I think that part of things, I think the multiverse is definitely a great shout, and there was a good opening to that.
Real quick, I just want to interject because you said about the Superman thing. What they apparently their plan is, I guess, just so you guys can think about this moving forward with your rest of your responses. The plan apparently with Henry Cavill Superman is to kind of have him as a supporting character, so to kind of have him in the role of the Hulk in the Marvel movies, where he's in the movies, but he's not. It's not like a Superman movie, which I feel they're kind of struggling with having Superman at the forefront of movies, which is why he shows up at the end of this movie and he's fucking up fucking Steppenwolf instantly. Yeah. And it's just you got to write Superman into a story like this where he's limited or not around. You know what I mean? Anyway, continue what you were saying, Mike.
Okay, well that's interesting, no? Because if that's the case, it's quite cool how he showed up at the end of Shazam, although you don't see his face. So at least you don't forget about him in the meantime, if you're not going to make Man of Steel 2. Jared Leto, I completely agree about tickling the balls comment. I honestly, I really agree because why would you bring him into this epilogue, which was actually really good. I actually really liked it. But to not give us more of that version of the Joker or not bring him back, because we've now got a reason, right? Ben Affleck meets him, so it explains as to the Suicide Squad as well. and obviously catching Harley Quinn at the beginning of that film, having an interaction with the Joker, it kind of makes sense in that part. But again, why introduce him if you're not going to use him again? And I can't remember if you mentioned anything else.
Yeah, no, you're just talking about like the future and like I talked about
Oh.
like the Flash with Michael Keaton and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, yeah, like if you have any other comments on that, for sure.
Well, very quickly, I think if the Flash movie, I have heard the rumor about Michael Keaton returning, which is awesome because I've only just recently checked out the original Batman not long ago. So yeah, I love the original Batman. Michael Keaton nailed that role for me personally. I thought he was great. And it also could give a reason as to why they kill off the Ben Affleck character if they're not going to bring him back permanently as well in that movie if he's coming back for that role. So I'm excited for the future. I think definitely the multiverse is the best way. So again, if they can't keep the actors' contracts or Henry Cavill's going to be supporting only or that drops out, at least they've got, again, multiverse that can bring in different interpretations of the characters.
For sure. What about you, Blacktastic? How do you feel about all that? Whatever you can remember to respond.
I'm gonna tell you this, man. Hollywood is funny. I remember when Robert Downey Jr. his contract was over, they brought him back, and he was just a reoccurring character in all the Marvel movies. No more Iron Man movies. I'm pretty sure there's a handshake deal on the table right now with Warner Brothers and Zack Snyder, because, like my man Mike said, why would it bring back the Joker and that particular Joker, Jared Leto? To me, it's all about redemption. Warner Brothers, they messed up Suicide Squad. I think it was a better film, but Warner Brothers stepped in and chopped it all up. So I think they heard the fans the last 4.5 years, like, man, y'all fucking up. Marvel is kicking in your ass. You need to do something right. And Wonder Woman kind of set the table to be on the right track. I believe, man, there's a handshake deal on the table. I think Zack's coming back to direct. I think, like you said, Superman, the Harvey Cavill one, I think he's going to be in certain movies. And the biggest comic book of all time, I ain't read it, but I know Superman fights Shazam. And it look like Superman is evil in the future. The only person who can go toe-to-toe with Superman is Shazam. Blow to blow, flying strength and everything. He holds it down. It makes sense to bring Shazam in the future to fight Superman if he's evil underneath Darkseid's power. And you got Mera out there fighting in this desert, man. Everything looks real cool. I'm thinking this weekend is the tell of a story. If everything goes right, like my man Mike said, all these people are back for a small cameo for a reason. I think Hollywood is pulling a fast one. And if they want to catch Marvel overnight, do that shit. I'm telling you, do that shit, because Superman did show up at the end of Shazam. It's the same universe. Get all these kids looking up to these characters. The Justice League exists in Superman's universe. Shazam's universe. It'd be a dream of his to come in and join the team and got to fight his hero, Superman, that's evil. That would be epic, man. That would be epic going forward. But trust me, handshake deals are done years in advance. There's a reason why they gave Zack Snyder $70 million. They didn't have to do it. They felt, okay, we're gonna get our streaming service going. We got to do this. I think something's already in play, guys. Give it a few weeks. Either Grace Randolph going to break the damn story, or my man, that Italian dude, what's his name? He used to be on Collider. One of them two are going to break the story. We'll hear about it in a couple months.
Is it John Campia?
John Campia. They know shit. But Grace, her voice gets on my nerve. She's not that attractive. Look like she needs some penis. Maybe she'll calm her ass down. Maybe to drop her voice. She knows something, and she has a personal relationship back and forth talking to Zack Snyder. I think he already got a contract, fellas. I think he already, because he purposely brought those guys in to shoot that epilogue for a reason. He didn't have to do that. The movie was fine, like you said, with Martian Manhunter going off that point. But I think Ben Affleck didn't have to come back and do no reshoots, and he did. I think Ben Affleck liked Zack Snyder. I think he really likes him a lot. My man is clean. He's sober, because at the end of the movie, when he did the scene with Martian Manhunter, Ben Affleck looked like the old Ben Affleck. He slimmed down, got buff again. His face looked, clean. He didn't look all red, all alcoholed up. trust me, fellas, I think something's on the horizon. I'll leave it at that.
For sure, I have to agree. I can't imagine that this weekend is going to go by and that they're not going to do something. That's why I wanted to do videos like this. I wanted to make sure that I play my part in the voices because it's so important. Like I think we all kind of, it seems like all of us were not part of the like consistent release the Snyder Cut movement. So I actually tried to get this guy on here that I've had recently. His name is Sean Maher. He has a channel called Movies That Matter with a Viking, and the dude is a top-notch Zack Snyder movie fan and a huge DC fan, and he was a huge part of the release the Snyder Cut thing. And he actually got to interview Zack Snyder recently, and yeah, you know, we have to thank those fans who were just so resilient, because I think at the end of the day, the one thing that we haven't touched on that's just, this is unprecedented. Like, when have we ever got a cut of a film and years later gotten not only a director's cut, because the director's cut's fine. You know, you got the, you know, you think back to different comic book movies or different, you know, like things like Blade Runner, for instance, that has the original cut. Then there's another like, it's a separate cut, and then there's the like Ridley Scott cut or whatever. Like, there's like 3 cuts of that movie, and then
there was one film that did it. One film. I don't mean to cut you off. Remember Superman 2?
Yeah, the Richard Donner cut.
Yeah. Remember, he had problems with Warner Brothers as well. They got into a funk because he's supposed to shoot Superman 1 and 2 back to back, and he did most of it. And then they released that one version. They got a guy who did, again, more comical stuff for these movies. But 10 to 15 years went by. They got the old reels out. They pieced it all together. Superman 2 did it. And it was Warner Brothers again. Warner Brothers has a history of doing this shit. So, man, I think it's going to happen.
For sure, and hopefully it does, right? Because I think for me the biggest thing is just like this 4-hour cut. It's unprecedented to get such a long film that completely and utterly changes the whole landscape of it. So yeah, like moving forward, I am very excited to see what they do, and I really hope that Zack Snyder has a deal on the table, that they do something amazing with it. So I guess another question I want to ask you guys moving forward now with the rest. Actually, hold on, I think. Rashad, my bad.
I was about to say, what's up?
My bad.
Just forgot. Well, I ain't got much to say. I ain't got much to say about that, man. Like Blacktastic, he summed that up perfectly, man. I hope it happens, but here's what I gotta say though. Here's what I gotta say, which I might not like.
Yeah, but say what you gotta say about Jared Leto, right?
I don't hate Jared Leto. All right, I don't hate him as the Joker. I guess maybe because I just haven't seen enough of him. You know what I mean? Now, Suicide Squad, I'm not a fan of the whole Joker gangster, you know, Sholo persona. You know what I'm saying? The gold teeth, that's not the Joker, man. Joker is a sick, sadistic, crazy, psychotic. He's like a coiled spring. You never know which way he's gonna go. You know what I'm saying? He's very unpredictably crazy. And this Joker was more, he was normal. He's like a normal typical gangster with clown paint on. Wasn't buying it. You know, Heath Ledger, Agent of Chaos. You know, Jack Nicholson, the crazy uncle that would you know kill you. You know what I'm saying? Yo, even Joaquin Phoenix, like he embodied the Joker that we see in the comic books. There's nothing about Jared Leto that says Joker. So as an actor, I respect him. As a Joker, hell no. You know, in my Boosie voice, man, hell no, Vlad. No, man. We can't have him as Joker, man. That's it, and that's all.
I guess that wraps it up right there. What were we gonna say something, Mike?
Well, I was just going to add very quickly that I completely agree with Rashad in Suicide Squad. I felt like the best scenes with the Joker in that movie was the beginning where he's in a nightclub. So it's like the dark light and he kind of looks menacing in the background. And the part with the helicopter scene at the end when he's getting Harley Quinn out from the prison or whatever he was doing. I can't remember it that much. But the one thing I loved about Joker in that epilogue scene and the 2021 Snyder Cut version was the fact that he showed a little bit of a vulnerability to him when Batman said, like, I'm going to fucking kill you. Like, I loved that part because the Joker actually looked really scared for a second. And then thought, nah, I've got his number.
Yeah,
I love that part.
Sure. Yeah, I like that a lot. Yeah, I agree. And I think that they could do something really cool with the Joker moving forward. I just think that, yeah, like kind of like what you said, Rashad, they just haven't given him enough. And so I kind of want to take it back to another thing I remember seeing that, like, around the time that they announced that the Snyder Cut was officially going to be being released, David Ayer, who directed Suicide Squad, came out saying on Twitter saying that he has a cut of Suicide Squad that is fundamentally better, and that he had a lot that he had to cut out too because of the studio. And so my question to you guys now, we'll start with Rashad this time. Would you want to see the Ayer cut of Suicide Squad, or are you like, nah, I'm good on that?
No, I'm open to it. You know what? Prior to Suicide Squad coming out, I was a big fan of the animated one, Assault on Arkham. I don't know if you've seen that, but that's like top 5 like best animated joints ever. You know, Suicide Squad, Assault on Arkham. So yeah, I was rooting for the movie. As a matter of fact, the movie was working for me until they started the mission. And once they got, to the mission, the movie just went downhill quick. And it's like, what the fuck happened? Like, you had it, you were there. And then like a erectile dysfunction, it just went down and never got back up again. So yeah, they released the Ayer cut. Sure, why not?
What about you, Blacktastic?
I'm down with that. I'm down with that too, man, because Warner Brothers, they have it going on. Right now, the ball is in the park. Check this out. You got Suicide 2 coming out. Where? On streaming later on this year. Warner Brothers has everything in their hands. All they got to do, release the Ayer cut on their streaming channel. Everybody's going to watch it. You're going to break the internet again. It might redeem that film some, just like Batman versus Superman. Then when you got Suicide Squad 2 coming out later on this summer, man, DC can damn near catch and pass Marvel in one summer. They got to be smart, man. These executives, well, they changed over the top since Suicide Squad and BVS came out. That dude's been fired. So they gotten better with their movies. The only thing that kind of bombed was Wonder Woman 1984. That was probably the mishaps, and maybe Birds of Prey. I don't know how you guys feel about that movie. It was all right. The women are fine, so I didn't mind it, but from a comic book standpoint, maybe it wasn't legit. I don't know. Okay, thumbs down. All right, I got you. I won't say more, Rashad. You goddamn looking at me like I'm Jared Leto, motherfucker. Shit. But it's all about redemption, man. It's all about redemption, man. You can redeem David Ayer, Jared Leto, all in one movie. You got another movie coming out. I mean, it's just COVID-19 changed the game, man. It changed the game forever. You got all these movies sitting on the shelf that haven't been released. Now is the time to do it, because before you didn't have another service to do that with. You had to release it on DVD or 4K or something, Blu-ray. Now you got your own streaming service and you're competing with Disney and Netflix. This is how you catch everybody in one summer, man. Release that shit.
No, I mean, can I just say this real quick, man? I think DC's biggest enemy is Warner Brothers, man. Warner Brothers just keeps getting in the way. They need a Kevin Feige type, executive person to just be in charge of all DC, films, and just let that man run it the way he needs to run it. Warner Brothers has people always, putting their hands in the pot and they're fucking these movies up. So if Warner Brothers just stayed out the way, there'll be no need for an Ayer cut or a Snyder cut. Just let these people tell DC has some great stories, man. Just let them tell these stories and get the fuck out the way. Put your little WB logo on there and shut the fuck up.
You're not wrong, man. So, I guess I'm going to come back to everybody else now in a second. But I guess, Mike, as you're answering your question, or answering the question about the Ayer cut, and if that's something you'd be interested in seeing, I guess the question to you guys is, if they were to announce tomorrow that Warner Brothers has decided that Zack Snyder will be that Kevin Feige role of character over the DCEU, would you like that? Would you not like that? Let's start with you, Mike, as you also answer the question about the Ayer cut.
Yeah. So along with Rashad and Blacktastic, I would like to see the Ayer cut as well. It'd just be interesting to see what they would do differently to the first version that we got, because, like Rashad said, the first half of that movie was great. I actually Really liked it. It was a different stylistic tone that we normally get with DC. So I respected that they did something different. As Rashad said again, when they got to the mission, it was awful. It just went south like that very quick. So I would like to see what they did differently. And like Blacktastic said, right now HBO, we don't have that in the UK. We have like a different streaming service that's been around for years. But for you guys in the States, obviously HBO, I'm assuming, is fairly new.
Yeah, HBO Max at least.
HBO Max, yeah. So for them at the moment, this Snyder cut, I'm assuming for this weekend, will explode, and you know Zack Snyder is gonna be they're probably gonna have talks with him at least anyway, with the amount of money to recuperate from that 7 million investment. So I think, like Blacktastic said, getting out that cut right now of the air, I'll say like right this summer, it's coming before the new Suicide Squad, I think would be a smart move to do. And again, it might redeem Jared Leto a bit further, like because we haven't seen much of him, as we've all said. In terms of in the future, though, if Zack Snyder was announced as like the new Kevin Feige for DC, yeah, all for that. Again, he's clearly got a vision of 3 Justice League films. So in that time, we could have Wonder Woman 3, Shazam 2, Aquaman 2, The Flash obviously coming out soon. And then he could also incorporate the Suicide Squad into being some of the villains for the Justice League as well. And I just think he would have a really good vision of how to incorporate all of that. Whereas if someone else comes in, I don't think they might handle it as well.
For sure. What about you, Rashad? What do you think about Zack Snyder? You know, if he was to ever take on the role of a Kevin Feige for the DCEU.
I'm with it because it started out very promising. Man of Steel, even the first Wonder Woman, he was the producer on that movie, if I'm not mistaken. You know, even though Patty Jenkins was a director, but you could see Zack Snyder all over that movie. He was a producer on there. So yeah, I'll be down for it, man. Hell yeah. Especially what he did with this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. What about you, Blacktastic?
I don't know if you guys remember, man. He was kind of being prepped to be the Kevin Feige of this. Only thing that derailed it was his daughter's tragic death. Because if you look at it, like Rashad said, the look of Wonder Woman, he created that. Aquaman, the first billion-dollar movie in WB history for superheroes, he created that Aquaman. So everything that's been successful, he created, man. He is kind of already been the Kevin Feige because he did, you know, Man of Steel, BVS. He did Justice League. He had a big hand in Wonder Woman, and he had a big hand working with my man for Aquaman. So his stamp is all over the whole universe already. If his daughter didn't die the way she did, I think he would have been a Kevin Feige. Just like Bryan Singer was grooming himself to be the Kevin Feige of 20th Century Fox with the X-Men movies. His movies were good, except for that last one, but he was kind of like the one who set the precedent. But you know, he messed with the actors, the male actors. yeah, you know, grabbing them balls and penises and stroking them. He couldn't control himself. But his 4 films resurrected that whole franchise, and now Disney own them. So Bryan Singer was kind of that person for a while, and definitely Zack Snyder was that person for a while. If it wasn't for his daughter, I think this conversation would be mute, man. He would have been going on to do. We'd have had Justice League 2 would have came out, or 3 would have came out by now.
Yeah, I think so too. And so I guess let's hop back into the Snyder Cut. And I guess one question I've been wanting to ask you guys is, who was the standout character for you in this film, this version of it? For me, I think hands down, you know, everybody have their shining moments. As a longtime Batman fan, it was great to see him and have these moments. But without a doubt, I think I pretty much alluded to it earlier. Cyborg was the hugest and the biggest standout of the film for me, with the most heart, and his whole narrative and his whole that whole storyline with him and his dad. I found it to be the most emotional and strongest part of the film. So this time around, let's start with Rashad. What did you feel was, or who did you feel was the standout character in the film?
Standout character, definitely Cyborg is the heart of the film. But now the character with the most badass scenes, that's got to go to the son of Jor-El, Superman. When Superman showed up, he showed up and showed out. I had my son over here, and I would just went right to the part where Superman was resurrected, and when he was fighting the whole Justice League, my son was like, yeah, Dad, Superman can beat the Hulk. I said, blasphemy. I said, shut up, son, and get the hell out of my house. He actually told me, they said, yeah, Superman can beat the Hulk. That's up for debate, but yeah, and go back to what you said, Perez. I guess they're trying to do that with Superman, making him like the Hulk, where he'll never get his own standalone, but just make him part of an ensemble, which I think is bullshit because Superman's such a fascinating character. They shouldn't reduce him to that. I feel like he should get his own movie. But yeah, so yeah, to answer your question, Cyborg was a standout character. Superman was a standout badass. When he even when Darkseid looked at him, when the portal opened up and Darkseid kind of walked up there, and he looked at Superman, he says, "Oh, I ain't ready for your ass yet." And turn back around and wizard. Nah, we need to soldier up something before we fight that motherfucker there, man. Sure.
Man, I agree with you 110%. Cyborg was the most flushed out character. He was the heart of the film. His character, I can relate to. Being a football player, being really super smart, helping your students and classmates out with their test work, sneaking into the computer, hacking stuff. I like to see a person of color being smart, not just strong. He was smart before he got his powers. And to lose his mom at one of the biggest nights of his life playing football, and his dad wasn't there. His dad loved him, but his work kept him away from the family. And so when he lost his mom, and then later on, when his dad came in there, he was crying because he lost his wife. He was about to lose his son. When he became Cyborg, and Wonder Woman gave him that talk, which she was trying to find who he was. He's like, "Look, let's meet right now. Okay, you can't hack my ass. I'm the hacker around here." And he gave that woman all that money in her account. Stuff like that, man, was like, it kept me thinking. I love this dude because I don't read comic books, but I watch the little cartoon shows. I love Cyborg in those cartoons, man. He was off the hook, and it broke my heart what Joss Whedon done to him. But I gotta agree with my man Rashad. Superman showed up and showed out. That black suit, the way he was flying with that one hand here and the other hand was right here, he was flying up towards Steppenwolf. Man, he was beating him around that damn dome. He was punching him, and the echoes going boop, 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 boop. I mean, Zack Snyder knows how to show the strength of heroes. Yeah. He did it in Man of Steel. He did it in BVS. He knows how to make these men look like gods. And, those two right there, man, that was a Justice League for me right there. It was cool.
Thanks.
For sure. What about you, Mike?
Yeah. So, just to kind of echo firstly what the other guy said, Cyborg was definitely one of the best flushed out characters. I loved at the beginning that he had this hatred because he was saved, but he was just this machine. And I guess if it was one of us, one overnight walker was a machine. Yeah, it's damn cool. Don't get me wrong. But at the same time, it's like, how would you feel if everything was taken away from you at the same time? So, like that. Hey, Q.
Oh yeah. What up? I got some green shit on my screen. Hold on.
Oh, what a surprise!
Surprise!
Shit. What? That deserves a shot right there. Hold on, let me take a shot.
Keep on with what you were saying. What you were saying, there, Mike?
Yeah. So I was just going to add. So besides Cyborg, the two standouts for me, I would say, was Wonder Woman and Batman. And simply because Superman was great, I loved the black suit. That was one of the highlights for me. But I felt like with Batman, they've given him a bit more redemption with Ben Affleck because, again, he got a lot of grief when he was first announced as being Batman. And I think this film just made them prove everyone wrong. And with Wonder Woman, especially how she was treated in 1984, I think this was just redeeming, especially if they're going to go forward with that character just being a badass. And that's why I think those two are the standouts for me, because I just felt like Zack Snyder redeemed both of them in one movie.
Thank you.
For sure.
Mhm.
Well, here's what I'm going to say really quickly. We need to stop with this damn hate that Wonder Woman 84 is getting, because
I
that
knew it
movie
was
is not
coming.
that.
I knew it was coming.
That
I know.
movie, man. So I saw the movie in theaters on opening day, and I saw it before I saw any. I didn't see a single person's reaction. I came home and I filmed my review. So if you see my review, it's genuine.
Oh yeah.
I saw that movie in theaters, and maybe it was the theatrical experience for me that like added it to, like, I wasn't sitting on my couch or something. Like I don't know what it is, but I genuinely liked the movie. But I mean, and that's one of those for me where I've been mind blown. It's kind of like The Last Jedi. I walked out of Star Wars: The Last Jedi, and I loved it. I remember I made like a Snapchat post about how much I loved it, and then I went on Facebook, and everybody was killing each other over it. And I was like, holy shit, what the fuck? And so same thing with Wonder Woman. I like saw it. I was like in love with it. I post my review. Then I go on Facebook. People are like, what is this shit? I'm just like, oh my God. Sometimes I'm on the complete opposite end of everybody. I think Q was having some technical difficulties that I'm assuming he's going to pop back in a second. But yeah, you know, it seems like we pretty much all have the same kind of a viewpoint as far as Cyborg being like this real big heart of the film. And then we all have our individual characters that kind of stand out to us here and there. I guess the question, too, that I have seen, as much as people have been praising it, the same people who criticize Batman for being pretty violent and Batman vs. Superman have not been super happy about, you know, people definitely dying in this film by the Justice League's hand. You know, we see that Wonder Woman, you know, like is just destroying people at the beginning, guys getting smashed up, blood everywhere, and at the end she decapitates Steppenwolf. So my question to you guys, we'll start with Mike this time around. Do you care about Justice League characters or superhero characters being violent at all in this way, like as far as like them actually killing people?
No, the more killing the better. I mean, let's just talk about Dark Knight Rises for a second. Simply because with the violence in that, when Bane pretty much breaks Batman's back, it was needed for that story arc and to make Batman as a vulnerable hero, because then there's only a rich guy who's got tech. So in this movie, he's killing people, but it just goes to show that he's someone not to be messed with. And especially when, again, he delivers that line to the Joker in the epilogue. I felt like it was needed, and Joker's like, right, okay, I'm going to have to watch myself around this guy, possibly, or I haven't got the upper advantage of him. But again, like Steppenwolf, with the being rated R, he tore apart them Amazon characters, or Amazonist characters. And again, it added to the depth of him to say, like, right, he's not to be messed with. And I just felt like if they went like the PG route or the rated 13, whatever you guys have over there, I don't know. I just felt like that blood, especially the Wonder Woman opening scene, it added to them again not to be messed with, or these are super powerful beings and not to be taken lightly. So no, more the better.
Gotcha. See, I guess the argument a lot of people make is the idea that they just don't like to see these heroes that are all about like, I'm gonna save the day. Like they don't like to see them in any way, shape, or form being the ones that are killing people. And so that was what people said with Batman. I see Q is back in here again. We still see that green bar on your screen, man. I don't know what's going on there, but
I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on with that either. This is weird because I was tested out by a camera. And then, it works, but some reason it's this green bar. I don't know why.
Must be a lantern.
Green lantern.
You're a green lantern.
I'm a green lantern. But everything's hooked up, right? So I don't know. I don't know what the hell that is. I never seen that before.
Yeah, that's strange, but hey, man, you're here, and that's all that matters.
You can see the top of my head, though, right?
Yeah, that's all that matters. You see the top of your head. Yeah. Little green bar. We'll just say that you're naked under it or something.
I'm naked.
Yeah, exactly.
Adventures of Eyes.
Yeah, exactly. You've been watching so far. I saw you commenting a little bit, so I know you know what we've been talking about. We're going to get to you in just 1 second because I definitely want to hear your thoughts overall. But we were just talking about the violence and how I've seen some people complain about seeing people like Wonder Woman like slashing people up, or these heroes, you know, just wrecking people. And we're just talking about everybody's opinions on whether or not they feel that takes away from the characters or the film. Mike just gave his opinion. Let's jump into you, Blacktastic. What is your opinion on, you know, seeing the Justice League characters be so brutal?
Man, like I said, I don't read comic books, but I guess it was this mythos going around that Batman don't kill people, That's why the Penguin and Joker never die, because he never kills them. But in all the movies I've seen, from Michael Keaton up to Ben Affleck, Batman kills motherfuckers. I thought that was common knowledge. And Superman, he killed people in Superman 2 back in 1981. So I don't know who these people are. I think there are people who live with a mom in a basement, grown ass man, ain't got a life. There must be a janitor at McDonald's. I don't know who they are, man, and how they can say you need casualties to make the story feel real. And Marvel, from my understanding, they never really die. They can come back. So their deaths are not really death. Sometimes the best thing about a movie is somebody's death and you feel it and it makes the other person do something. But Batman's always been violent, at least the Dark Knight version of him. He beats people up and he kills them. And I loved it. And Wonder Woman, man, she is so powerful. If she I hate movies when people get thrown against the wall, they go, oh man, no man, your back is broken. Yo, you ain't moving for the rest of your life except in a wheelchair. They are powerful gods, and I mean, they grab you with one arm and throw you across the room. And these people were terrorists. They was about to kill kids. Them motherfuckers need to die the worst way. So I love it. I love the violence, man. It wasn't gratuitous, even though it was rated R. Nothing was gross in the movie. You had 3 F-bombs, and Steppenwolf got his head chopped off. My man Darkseid stepped on it. I love that. It was beautiful, man. It was beautiful theater-like.
For sure. Yeah, you know, it's funny. Anytime I hear people say something about Batman, like, and Batman doesn't kill people. I like playing like the Batman. Earlier, a couple months ago, I was playing through some of the Batman Arkham games recently, and you're just pounding on people. And then like sometimes, you know, you ever like see a video game where like the character like a ball or something. Like their body, those games are great, man. Where like, you know what, like, you ever see like a video game where like the character like falls and their body kind of flops over? I always find it funny, like when you play like that game with Batman, like you're just beating the shit out of people and then they fall and they're like their elbow falls back here and they're all like crammed up in a corner. I'm like yeah, Batman doesn't kill people, but he leaves them in a coma for the next 15 years. Like, you know what I mean? What about you, Rashad? What's your thoughts on that whole thing?
People just need to shut up. I mean, you know what? I remember years ago. I'm gonna take it back to 1990 when the Ninja Turtles came out. Man, the original Ninja Turtles. 10 years old, loved the movie. A lot of parents were saying, "Oh, it's too violent. They shouldn't be using their ninja weapons." The guy with the swords, he hit somebody and they died, and one guy got shot. So when the sequel came, The Secret of the Ooze, they just clipped the balls off of it and just made it so kid friendly that kids didn't like it no more. Just shut up, man. All right, Wonder Woman is stronger. If Wonder Woman takes any of us and throws us up against the wall, it's not going to leave a bruise. We're going to hemorrhage. Bad. You know what I'm saying? So, nah, man, the violence at all don't bother me. It's a rated R movie. And, you know, you do have your kid-friendly joints like a Wonder Woman 84. That's for the kids, okay? But then you have the superhero. You got the superhero joints for the adults. And that's just no diss, Perez, but I'm keeping it real. Wonder Woman 84 is for the kids, okay? Justice League is for us. All right. Justice League is for us, the grown folks. All right, that's grown folks comic book movie. So yeah, people can just shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely I have to agree. I have to agree in the sense that I find that. By the way, I just changed the title and I hate that YouTube only allows you to have like 100 characters in the title because I have to cut out a couple of words. But I just changed the title and the thumbnail because Q Reviews.
Oh, you didn't have to change it. I appreciate it. You didn't have to change it, no.
Nah, bro. I literally had this thumbnail ready, and I like the one with you in it anyway the most. So I was like, yeah, I definitely got it. I also just realized that I didn't put your guys' links like in the thumbnail or in the description, but we're gonna do that now. But yeah, I gotta agree with you, man. Like I like seeing the visceral action and stuff from these characters, and you know, like I like that they don't want to kill people. You know what I mean? Like if they can try not to, right? But like that's like I remember people like bitched about Man of Steel with Henry Cavill killing Zod, but for me.
What they gonna do with Zod, son? What they gonna do with that? What they gonna do with Zod? They gonna throw him in jail? You know what I'm saying? Give him 30 days? Like, yo, like he had to kill Zod, son. Like he would have killed everybody, son. He was a god. Like you have to kill that dude. It's no putting him, but you know, like that away zone, that friend zone, and like Superman 2 with the mirrors. There's no doing that with Zod, son. Gotta kill him. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're good. I'm over here adding everybody's links to the description because I'm upset that I hadn't done that already. For anybody who's watching this, whether you're watching after the fact or live, go subscribe to all of these guys down below in the description box. I'm putting the links in there right now. But I agree, man. Like, I kind of like that complex nature of that scene, right, where you have Superman like crying and screaming that he has to kill Zod. So it's kind of like a give and take. But really quickly before we continue on, Q, let's hear your thoughts, man. It's super fresh in the mind. We started this off by talking about what everybody thought about the 2017 version first. And so I want to know what you thought about the 2017 version and what you think about this version now that we just got.
Oh, yeah. Well, first off, I had to come get some of this, some of the Rashad G view, some of this Blacktastic and Mike the Z review, and some Andy Perez. I had to just come in. So I still got about 10 minutes left. They just stepped on my boy, my man Head, Steppenwolf Head. So I still, and then I seen Darkseid. I was like, oh shit, okay. So I stopped right about there. So I mean, y'all can spoil the rest of it. I already seen it in 2017. It's the same beat, so I'll take it from there. 2017, I believe on my channel, I gave it a 4 or something, like a 4 point. I think I was biased because I was just so happy to see all these superheroes together, Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman. So I was gonna love it no matter what. And then when I go back and look at it, I'm like, well, this shit is a mess, dog. It's just really messy, and it's really doesn't seem like a movie, like a well put together film. It does seem like a hack job. It does definitely seem like a hack job. Yeah. And then like for the interjected comedy, it definitely feels like like Rashad G was saying, Saturday morning cartoons, what they did to the Ninja Turtles. Even that first season of the Ninja Turtles was violent, and then people complained, and they throw in the happiness, friendly jelly beans and bubblegum. That's what I feel about Justice League 2007. And I still love the scene of the Superman scene when he comes back to life. I was chills. I even had more chills watching it now, because it meant a little bit more from this long novel that we got, this comic book novel that we have with this Justice League now, and from this film to this film, like what the hell is a movie? This is not even the same movie. It's the same plot, but this is a whole different movie. This is a whole different paintbrush. Zack Snyder is directing the shit out of this. He is directing the shit out of it. Granted, he had the time to do it, but my God, man, it's fucking good. This movie is fire, bro. It's fire. It's fire. It doesn't even compare to the 2000. I don't never want to see that one again. I think, yeah, I'm serious. I'm like they took my man Vision and kind of just blah. I'm thinking to myself, did these dudes even talk to Joss Whedon and Zack Snyder even talk to each other? Did these motherfuckers even talk? I don't even think they talk. I think they almost purposely shit on each other's work, and I think the studio said, yes, let's put that colorful Superman suit in there. Let's make it real colorful. Turn up those hue and saturation way, way up. Mustache, weird. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I even like in this Justice League, he looked at that colorful suit and was like, nah, son. And came out with a black suit. I was like, yeah, let's go.
People got a problem with the black suit. People got a problem with that black suit. I have no problem with it.
I loved it.
I love the black suit.
I loved it.
Yeah,
shit was fire. So I was like,
yo, okay, can I say something? Can I say something real quick though, man? All right, so Q, I'm about to bounce off you, right? So I watched the 2017 one after I watched the Snyder cut, right? And I'm agree with you, the movie is a mess, but there are 3 scenes in particular where I wish they could have took from the 2017 one and put it in this one. One of them was the Batman Parademon scene, which I said early in the beginning, and the second one was the scene where they were on the jet, and when Aquaman was sitting on the lasso of truth.
Oh yeah,
and he was telling us good, like I love that scene. He was like, you said you have no powers, no offense. You could be working for the enemy, and you're tripping over your own feet and mine. And oof, you're gorgeous and strong and fierce. And, like he wanted a piece of Wonder Woman. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I love that scene. I love that scene. I agree.
That worked for me.
The Pet Cemetery one too, I kind of like that joke. I thought the Pet Cemetery joke.
The Pet Cemetery joke, And then the third and last scene was at the end. I don't know where they could fit it in there, but the scene where Superman and Flash saved that family that was in that truck, and then Superman had the building in. Because the thing about Superman, we always got to see him saving somebody. Like that's always been a staple in every Superman story. You have to see him saving somebody. You know, like you look at the Christopher Reeve joints, you know, stop, don't do it, the people. He's all about saving the people. You know what I mean? Those three things I think we could have had.
Remember that shit? He was literally getting cats out the tree.
Yeah.
I feel what you're saying. Though. So he's
man.
But I feel you. I was missing those scenes as well. And the Pet Cemetery joke. Some of the comedy was good though. You know what I'm saying?
But
I do dig Snyder's version way better. Plus I got, granted he didn't get to finish it, but he had the time to finish it this time. So he really didn't, I don't think, have the studio interference that he had before. You know what I'm saying? Oh, put some more comedy. Oh, make it like Captain Marvel and Iron Man. Put all this stuff. We got to be like Marvel. You can already tell they were rushing by killing Superman in the second movie. So like, I'm glad for Zack Snyder got to make the movie that he wanted to actually make, man. The mess behind it, that's a whole nother, you know what I'm saying, topic, the internet and all that crazy stuff. But I'm glad to see his vision, and it's definitely some good work he did here, some real good work. Seeing them work as a team, I was giddy. Like, this is the Justice League. That's how you work as a team. That's how you use Cyborg and Flash together, or vice versa, Wonder Woman and Aquaman. It was just, it made sense. Everything flowed. The pacing was just on point for such a long movie. I didn't take a break. I was just watching it all the way through.
Yeah, no, for sure. The pacing was great in the movie. And Rashad brought up something that I definitely wanted to ask you guys, and you brought it up as soon as I was thinking about it. I go, perfect. You were talking about the scenes that you really liked from the original one, and also I wanted to ask all of you guys, what's one scene from the original cut of the film that you wish was still in this film, and what's another scene that you're glad was not at all in that other one, or things that you're glad just didn't make the cut? Because I think, I don't know if I have mentioned it already, but it's already come out. Zack Snyder has actually never seen the Joss Whedon cut. He never watched the 2017 movie, so he didn't let that affect what he was gonna put into the movie.
He didn't put a frame of Joss Whedon stuff in his movie at all. He didn't
not even a little bit.
Yeah, not even a little bit. So I don't know if that's, I think that's good though. Like, so he didn't even know what he did, you know what I'm saying? So that kind of, like, he can do whatever he wants, you know what I'm saying? So I kind of like that. So he's like, oh, I can make this better. He didn't even look at it. So like, he had his vision maybe all along. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. So I think he had this specific vision, and he just didn't even mess with anything that Joss Whedon had to say or did. And so for me, the one scene that I think I would have, like, there's plenty of little scenes here and there. Like, I like that scene with the lasso with Aquaman that you mentioned. That's a good one. The parademon scene, like, I didn't mind that. Like, there's little moments. I think we can all unanimously agree that every scene with the CGI lip Henry Cavill is good that that's not in the movie. I would say, funny enough, the one scene that for me, the one thing about the movie that I just didn't really care for when I look back at the 2017 version is that whole thing with that Russian family. Couldn't really care less about it. I know you said you like it, Rashad. For me, like, the fact that it wasn't in the movie was fine by me. The one scene that I really liked, and I was talking to David from Interpreting the Stars about it, and he's the first one that brought it up, and I go, yeah, you know, that's one scene I definitely missed in the movie, was when they first go and meet Steppenwolf, when he's got Cyborg's dad and all those other individuals there. You know, there's that scene in the original cut where Batman is telling the Flash, like, just save one person, you know, because he's like afraid. He's like, go save one person. But then he goes and saves the one person, and he's like, oh, I did that pretty quick. And he keeps trying to save people. But in this cut, you know, there's that whole thing where they're like all running up the stairs, and he's just kind of running up and down the stairs, like, come on, let's go. So for me, I would have liked to have that one, like, save one person line. I like that whole dynamic. So let's start with Mike on this one. What's something that you would have liked to have seen, like, kind of remain in the film from the Joss Whedon cut, and what's something that you're glad 100% was not in the movie?
Yeah. So the thing that I would have liked to have had added to the 2021 version would have definitely been the Batman parademon scene. I know we spoke about that earlier, but again, it's just to add that bit more grittiness to Batman's character, see him in the suit a little bit earlier in the film as well. I would have loved to have seen that scene. Again, it's only about a 5-minute scene, if that, and into a 4-hour movie, they could have definitely added that in. What I'm glad that they didn't add into this version was some of the comedy aspects. Q and his Superman figure. Yeah, for me, I was saying to Perez before the live stream that with DC, I like the darker tone of these movies. I don't like all the comedy that's kind of more for Marvel, and they do that perfectly. For DC, I'm glad that they didn't have like the scene where Flash falls on top of Wonder Woman, for example. Or just stupid comedic moments, because they built them up a lot better in this movie without having those daft moments in there. So yeah, I just felt like they nailed it with like the less comedy aspect of the Flash as such, and just give a bit more of a actual fleshing out characterization of him.
Facts.
Yeah. For sure. No, those are great ones right there. What about you, Q? What's something that you are wish that would have come over from the Joss Whedon cut, and then something that you're 100% glad was not in this cut that was from that original movie?
Yeah, man, that's tough with the Joss Whedon. What I bring over, like he said, I did like the I gotta agree with Rashad. I love the lasso scene. That was just brilliant. That was just smart writing that Joss Whedon is known to do in his Avengers. I was watching Age of Ultron the other day, and just them like at that party with the witty banter between each other, trying to lift the hammer. I could have watched another hour of that. You know what I'm saying? That's Joss Whedon writing. And say what you want, I like Age of Ultron. The second time I look at it, like, this is some really smart writing. How Ultron evolved out of Jarvis, and you know what I'm saying, and attacked him. I love that. So I do like Joss Whedon's writing, but I don't know what I bring. Probably that lasso scene. I thought the Pet Cemetery joke was good. You know, do you bleed was a little much, you know what I'm saying? But I did, when I seen that in the theater, I was shitting my pants like, oh shit, he said, do you please? He said it to him, son. So yeah, that was hype. I like those moments. Moments I would have took away though, of course, I hate that beginning scene of the 2017 Justice League. Of course, with the mustache super, I just hate that whole scene in general. It's just mad corny, and it's a mad corny way to begin the movie. So they do that, and then they cut to the scene of the big S, and it's just mad corny to me. And I know they was trying to make Superman out to be the hero because he was so dark and gloomy, though. But Superman is a corny character, but I just didn't. I felt it was disconjointed from the movie. Yep. Wow. So I didn't like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I don't know, So yeah, I think that's the question, right? I answered both of those, like those things I probably keep. What was the second part of the question? I forgot.
Yeah, just something that you would keep and something that you're glad isn't in there. So I mean, I guess you answer both.
Yeah. Those. Yeah.
What about you, Blacktastic? Let's hear it. What's something you keep and something that you're glad 100% was not in the movie?
I'm gonna sound like a broken record. The lasso scene was brilliant comedy writing, because, not to dump on your movie, 1984, they overused in that movie. But to use it just a little bit in this movie was clever. She didn't lasso nobody. He sat on it, and Aquaman's such a big, strong dude to open up like that was brilliant writing. I forgot what Superman said when he showed up in the 2017 version. When he first showed up at the fight, he said something cool that reminded me of Superman. I forgot what he said, but I like what he said. That could have been in this version. Because this one, he just showed up and got hit with an axe and blowing that shit and froze it and broke it with his arms. But he said something that Superman would say in that first version. I forgot what it was. He first flew in, he said, justice in the American way. It was something cool. Yes, but I liked it. Mm-hmm. What I was glad to see gone in this version was that bullshit race between Superman and Flash at the end of the movie. That was stupid.
But that happened in the comic.
Yep. And the old show too, the old Superman show, they did it.
Oh yeah,
they did it.
I probably missed it.
Actually had that comic, and if you want to know the Flash
here. Yeah, but Superman should have been running too, right? You know, it would have been even, but maybe not.
Yeah.
And another scene I'm glad they took out, when Superman flying across the field and ran into the police car, and the Josh Whedon version, he said something like, "Oh man, that's going to leave a bruise." Batman never talked that way. I'm glad that was taken out of the film. That was so corny.
Yeah. They ruined Batman, I thought, in 2017. They made him a joke. They made Batman a joke in 2017, and that one cool. Even though he was laid back in the cut in this one in the in this Justice League. He more like Russell Simmons. Like, thank y'all for coming out. God bless. Good night. He didn't really do too much cool stuff though, but he laid back. He was Bruce Wayne though. He brought it all together, even though he didn't have like you say the warehouse scene I heard you guys talking about earlier. But he laid back in the cut. Yeah, I'm glad he didn't say that's going to leave a Bruce, because they made Batman a joke, and Batman is not to be the butt of a joke unless it's the Lego movie or something. You know what I'm saying? Then the series. The funniness of the Lego movie is he's the most serious person in the Lego movie. So yeah, so I'm glad they didn't make him a joke. I agree with you on that one, Blacktastic. Yeah,
for sure. What about you, Rashad? We know the 3 scenes that you would have kept, even though one of your 3 was one of mine that I don't want in the movie. What about you? What's something that you're glad is not in the movie?
Well, I understand what you're saying, but I guess the whole maybe the Russian scene we could have did without, but just showing Superman saving people, like, you know, you just have to have that in the movie, you know, because he cares so much about the people. He's willing to sacrifice everything just for, you know, as Chris Reeve says, the people, you know. Part that could have been
Oh man.
Let me see. A part that I'm glad didn't make it in the new version. That was in the 2017.
Yeah.
Okay, probably that moment between Cyborg and Superman after, you know, they were fighting Steppenwolf, and Cyborg was like, "Oh man, my feet are hurting." You know what? That's not even like, you know, physically correct. Like, how are my feet hurting? And Superman's like, "I know, I'm hurting too." And then Wonder Woman's like,
I forgot about that.
I work with children. Cut that out.
Yeah. I don't even remember that, bro. Damn, that's how.
They had Cyborg and Superman had a moment where they were like joking and laughing, and the Wonder Woman's just in the cut like, children. I work with children. No, so out of place.
I remember that now. Yeah, that was trash,
so
bro.
out of place. And by the way, by the way, that's that race between Superman and Flash. I had the comic book. I don't know what happened to it, but Flash actually did win that race. Just a little trivia for you. Yeah, Flash did beat him in the race.
I remember that.
He is
I remember that.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, I forgot about that scene. And, you know, I'd argue that scene would maybe work in this cut of the film more than in that one, just because then it didn't feel earned. Superman spent 0 time with any of these characters. Even Wonder Woman saying, like, I work with children. It felt like they hadn't spent any time together. Whereas with this one, another thing, my girlfriend was laughing with me the whole time when we were watching, because I just kept sitting here watching it, and I was just sitting there like, woo! Just like sitting here in the middle of my room. And the one scene that made me stand up and just kind of just couldn't stop shaking my hands over my head. It's a quick moment. It reminded me of the beginning of Age of Ultron, where they're all fighting in the snow, and then they all line up for that great shot. And there's that shot. There's that shot of freeze frame, like with the freaking with the Batmobile behind them, and all 4 of them are just like, man, that was why was that shot not in the original film? I don't understand. Like,
it was so much.
When I think about this movie in and of itself, I don't get why we got the version we did. I think this conversation has shown it. It's like, even if we got a slightly lesser version or it's a slightly better version than the other one, the amount that was left on the cutting room floor, the amount that developed the narrative and the character development, it just baffles me. It baffles me beyond belief.
Yeah, it's a tragedy, bro. It's what happened, Warner Brothers.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. I'm gonna tell you what happened. Warner Brothers was pissed because Joss Whedon left the project.
Snyder.
Because of his situation at home with his daughter. He left the project. I mean, a rumor came out he got fired. Man, he wasn't fired. You know, family comes first, period. And the movie was almost done. He'd come back in a couple of months and touch it up. They did not want to lose that release date because it was competing with Marvel. They did not want to lose that release date because Thor 3 came out. They said, we got to compete with Thor. They got their ass kicked anyway. And they gave Joss Whedon complete control because what he did over at Marvel. Hey, we got the guy who did the Avengers, man. Come over here. Make our Avengers like your Avengers. And he fucked it up. He did that black man wrong, cut him out the movie. He made Wonder Woman fucking sexist, you know. It was fucked up what he did.
Yeah.
And that man ain't worked since. Joss Whedon ain't worked since.
Yeah, they get bonuses if that movie come out. If Justice League come out on time, you know what I'm saying? People get huge like $1 million bonuses. You know what I'm saying? They don't care if the movie good or not. They just want to say, oh, Superman's back. Oh yeah, we can sell some toys. We're gonna sell some ice cream. We put Justice League out. They didn't really give a damn about Joss Whedon. Like, yeah, I mean not Joss Whedon, but Zack Snyder did. Yeah, whatever. He made Batman, Superman. That was, you know what I'm saying, heavily divisive. We get nice Joss Whedon in here, lighthearted. He'll sell us toys, but what it made was a bigger mess, bigger mess. You know what I'm saying? I seen that happen in another franchise before.
Yeah, that sounds so. I was gonna say that happened with Batman. That happened with Batman and Robin.
Oh,
that happened with Batman and Robin. They rushed to get the movie out. They wanted to sell toys, and Batman and Robin was a disaster. Same thing.
Like Rise of Jedi, Rise of Skywalker. Huh?
Whoa.
Oh, I'm sorry. I had to go there.
Don't get cut.
Oh, sorry. It's the truth though, man. I'm sorry. They rushed that movie. They didn't have a script. They're like, let's just go with this. Hey, where J.J. Abrams at? Hey, J.J. Abrams, come help fix this shit. People don't like it. They don't like it. They gonna make them like it. You know what I'm saying? Like, put them in there. That's what happened. You know what I'm saying? Make the fans happy again.
Really?
And then, I think it lost its vision, and the same thing what happened with that Justice League 2017. I think it just lost its vision, and I think Zack Snyder should just kept with that vision. And I think you had the better movie today. I don't know how you put a 4-hour movie in the theater though.
Well, that's the thing, right? We never would have gotten this cut of the film, and so it's almost like I hate to. It's so terrible to even think this because the way it worked out. I like that you got your Bays Malbus there.
Man.
But yeah, no, like I think we never would have gotten this cut of the film. We never would have gotten this cut. It's so terrible because of the circumstances that happened for Zack Snyder for us to get this cut of the film. You know, you would never wish that on anybody. But here we are, all these years later, being able to talk about such an amazing comic book movie, and so. Yeah, you know, it is really crazy. It's been really great being able to talk to you guys about this movie and like just realizing that it seems unanimous. And how could you not, right? It's unanimous that this movie is just fundamentally better than the film that we got. And it's not only because it's longer and it has more action or anything. It's because the story is fundamentally better. Like there's no getting around that fact. Like the characters are fleshed out. You know, the action's great, the special effects are great, all that stuff. But man, you know, speaking of special effects, Q, you weren't in here, so I got to know what you think about, because I know sometimes you're a CG artist. For anybody who doesn't know, Q Reviews is a CG artist. Let me get your CG artist expertise on Martian Manhunter. What did you think about him in the movie?
I only seen him on that one scene when he changed into Lois Lane, so I know it's another scene with him probably, right?
There's only one more scene, but it's near the end of the film, and it's just him. Like he's not part of any of the action. You know what I mean? So Like, what's your thoughts on his CG versus the rest of the CG in the film?
Was he like when he changed? He was like in a practical suit, or was that CG? I can tell the morphine thing. I mean, that's just a tradition that's been done years and years. Yeah. But I don't know. He was fine. I mean, did you guys hate him or something? I thought it stood out. I thought it stood out. I thought it stood out, and it was pretty cartoony compared to the rest of the movie. I didn't think about it. I was like, oh shit, they go back to Manhunter. Who was bothering me?
It's like, did you guys hate him or something?
I don't know. He stand out to me. What stand out to me is Steppenwolf though.
Oh shit!
It seemed like Steppenwolf got the cross-eyed. It's like they're like weird. You know what I'm saying? And it looks like you know what I'm saying. His reflectivity looks like I can't wait to get my PS5 so I can play that Dark Souls Steppenwolf. Because he like a video game. So that's Zack Snyder shit though. All this shit look like PS5. It looked like I'm fine with it. Like cool. It looked way better than that 17 red sky garbage. But it looked all of it looked like a cutscene video game. You know what I'm saying? It's fine. But I can blatantly tell the CG. On the other hand, some of the stuff in Marvel, even let's take Age of Ultron again. Like when Sokovia, that thing, the carrier crash, that should look real. A lot of stuff is practical in camera more in Marvel. That's because Snyder is the king of you know what I'm saying, that PS5 CGI. That's just what he do. But he's good at it. He is good at it. You know what I'm saying? But I think the closest he ever got that make it look practical is the fight scene in Man of Steel and Smallville. That shit is incredible still to this day because there's a lot of practical stuff.
Yeah.
It's a lot of practical and a lot of CG, but it's hidden very, very well that it seems real and seamless. Like parademons flying around and shit flying in the sky with particles. I mean, like, hey man, yeah, that's obviously CG, but I'm going with it. I'm having fun. I'm not like mad. You know what I'm saying? At any of it. Steppenwolf did look suspect sometimes, and some of the stuff did look a little suspect. It took me out of it, but not nothing that's like bad though to me.
Yeah, if anything, I thought Darkseid was probably the most cartoony looking character in the movie. Personally.
Yeah. But I mean, but it matched the film. I mean, because I said this in my review. I said Zack Snyder makes a movie look like a live action comic book. So I mean, if you take Darkseid, Steppenwolf, and Martian Manhunter and put them in like say Endgame, you'd be like, ugh, that looks shitty. But because his world is so surreal looking, I thought it fit. It didn't bother me at all. Yeah.
It's all shout out to Thanos. I think Thanos looks like a real purple person. I'm not even kidding. Like every time I see him, I see the tear duck in his eye. I mean, the best CG characters I ever seen in motion capture is Thanos and Caesar ever.
Yeah, for sure.
I was
gonna say Caesar.
Caesar. Caesar number one. Thanos is a close second to me. I mean, he looks like I don't even know what that is. Like that's a real Thanos. That's a real alien god right there. Like Caesar with his fur and snow in it and shit in it. You know what I'm saying? It's like that motherfucker. You know who look even better than Caesar? That orangutan. That orangutan look real. Maurice.
Oh yeah, Maurice. Yeah.
Maurice look real. That's a fully CG orangutan, dude. That shit look real. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but yeah. That's CG is all good, but like he the king of comic book CG. That's the Zack Snyder style. He's just real stylistic with it. He like the Michael Bay of the shit, but he can do it good. Not to shit on Michael Bay and all, but Michael Bay can really overdo it. Zack Snyder can too, but I'm cool.
Good job. No, that's a good comparison. They're like cousins almost, man.
Yeah,
a lot of people hate on Michael Bay too, like they hate on Zack Snyder.
Yeah. But The Rock is fire with Sean Connery and Nicolas Cage. You can't deny that.
Right.
Boys too. I dig Michael Bay. They got similar styles, but they do overdo it sometimes. It's cool. It's cool though. I still enjoy the films from time to time. You know what I'm saying? So I respect the aspect of filmmaking in any level. So I don't want to like trash Joss Whedon like I'm like trashing his movie though. But I think Warner Brothers did make a mess, and I don't think it's completely Joss Whedon's his fault. Some of it is his fault though. You know what I'm saying? Because he didn't make a cohesive movie, and I know it's really hard picking up somebody else's movie and trying to make it your own vision without probably even communicating, because it don't look like these two communicated at all. Please shit on Michael Bay.
I like Michael Bay, man. I can't front. I like Michael Bay, man. I can't. I can't.
I like
can't
him
do
too.
that. Yeah.
I like the way that the women look in his movies. The women be looking fly in Michael Bay movies.
Oh yeah,
damn! Camera be all up in that snatch, that ass, them titties.
That Megan Good Transformer
What
shot.
kind of camera he got?
Oh man,
the camera's on his finger. He's like, motherfucker got a thumb camera.
Oh,
let's see here.
Oh shit! Boy, you crazy, man. You crazy.
Yeah.
Thumb
camera, son.
Oh man. Yeah.
That's too good. All right. So I see real quick. This question I've been seeing here off on the side. We were just in so much good conversation. The only question that we've received so far today that they watched the Snyder Cut for the second time, they noticed that during the nightmare scene at the end, the epilogue that you have not seen Q reviews.
That's all right.
Mira is carrying a container of liquid, perhaps gas or water. He follows that up by saying, let's see, right here. Anyway, probably will never know what's inside. Do you think she's carrying liquid to use as a weapon against Superman? I honestly didn't notice it, and my best guess would be that she maybe is keeping that around as like a hydration system for herself. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think the Atlanteans can't can't come out of water for too long, right? Like they got to kind of they kind of like hydrate themselves some way. Because I know some of them, like that one guy in Aquaman, he had to shove his head in the toilet because he couldn't breathe. So that's what my assumption on what that would be is. I just figured we would just answer that because I noticed it was.
Yeah, that's Amber Heard, right? That's Amber Heard who played Mirror. She probably took the feces from Johnny Depp's bed, and that's what she had.
I mean, but yo, in all seriousness,
I had to. I'm sorry.
Nah, but yo, in all seriousness, no, Superman is easy to kill if you think about it, because in BVS, you know, he got beat by a human because he had kryptonite. All you have to do is get kryptonite, and Superman's done for. So Bruce Wayne should have no problem taking Superman out if he wanted to.
Hey, remember in the old Superman when
imagine liquid kryptonite,
and he was like, "Oh shit," and he threw up in that water. Son,
imagine
Superman was done.
Liquid kryptonite. That'd be dope.
I was just about to say that.
She control all water. That would be nice, man. Liquid kryptonite.
Yeah.
Take a
That's
shot.
what I'm thinking, because he should be easy to kill.
Yeah. And you know what? The one thing
Batman made it a gas in BVS.
Oh yeah.
Well, see, that's the thing, right? It's like in a lot of these versions of Superman, the one thing that kind of like is a gripe for me sometimes is like how easy it is to find kryptonite. Like, you know, this is a planet that's not even in our solar system. But like at the beginning of Batman versus Superman, like it just cuts to a shot of these kids on like a boat, and they just jump in and like 15 feet under the boat. It's like, hey, here's this fucking green rock. Weird? It was just so convenient sometimes, like how. Like
it's like part of the movie is missing. It's like part of the movie is missing again.
What I don't understand.
I agree.
What I don't understand with Superman, doesn't he get his power from the sun? Like, remember in part 4, that movie was boo doo, but they did an eclipse, and Superman was powerless. So if you can block the sun, so why is Superman powerful at night? I don't get it.
That's a good point, because the source of his power is from our sun. That's how he gets his. That's a good point.
Was that not nuclear?
Was that you said, Mike?
I was just saying with part 4, was that not Nuclear Man with the sun?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That was my favorite. Yeah, right. But
I used to like that movie when I was a kid. I'm not gonna lie. I used to like it when I was a kid. When I was a little kid, I just thought it was dope because they fought. I was like, that's the first time I seen that. But it's shit. It's a shit movie.
Yeah, but if it's nighttime, the 5 of us could whoop Superman's ass in a bar.
Oh yeah,
it's
like part 2. Remember?
Yeah.
Well, unless Superman works like solar panels, where solar panels they absorb the sun during the day, and then at night they can still be powered.
He running off his battery. He running off his soup's battery.
Run off his battery. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
And can he just fly to the East Coast or West Coast, grab a little sunlight? You know what I'm saying? Just fly to the other side of the world, like and come back.
There's your answer.
Yeah.
Sure.
Let me go to Beijing real quick.
The motherfucker be like,
quick.
Fly back.
So we see Cinematic Tendency commented here saying that the camera pans at the container kind of quick as Mira puts it on the floor and she says, I'll stab him for what he did to Arthur. That's another thing. So, like if they continue, we were talking about it earlier, if they continue on with this whole DCEU in the Snyderverse version, it is going to be crazy to think like, man, like at some point Aquaman dies and it's like, and it seems like nobody's really aged much, so it's not much further in the future that this man gets killed, and we know he gets killed by Superman. So there's kind of like a good thing and a bad thing to the epilogue, where it kind of like, again, it tickles your balls, it gives you a nice tickle, and you don't know if we're gonna get a follow up.
Well, hello.
Yeah, hello. Yeah. But then it's like at the same time, it's like like now we're also getting spoiled at the possibility that like whenever we see Aquaman and Superman fight in the future, if they do go down that route, we'll know, man, Aquaman ain't making it out of this one. Like he's going to be dead.
Well, question: has any of you ever seen
I heard a rumor.
The last? Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I heard a rumor that the Nightmare is supposed to be a whole movie in the future. It's supposed to be called something Justice League Nightmare, and they're gonna spell the Nightmare with a K to present the whole Dark Knight thing. And it's a dope concept. I don't know if it'll ever be a whole movie, but that's the whole concept. It's supposed to be Justice League Nightmare. It's supposed to be a whole film about that.
Well, I saw. Well, have any of you seen the animated joint, Justice League Dark Apocalypse?
Yeah,
just
really
came out
good.
last
Oh,
year.
I didn't ever see that one. I wanted to see that.
You ever seen that one?
Seen that
Nah,
one.
check that out, man. To me, that was better than Endgame. But I mean, I'll bring that up to say that that's like a post-apocalyptic Justice League movie where Darkseid kills most of the Justice League, including Aquaman, like what we see in the epilogue, and he actually possesses Batman to be like his number 2. You know what I'm saying? And then he possesses the most powerful members of the Justice League and brings them on his side, and that's how he's able to conquer everything. Nah, check it out, man. Yeah, it's a good watch. So that's probably the route that they're gonna go with this shit.
Well,
yeah, because like a lot of people get killed.
Yeah, for sure. And there's been and so one thing that they've done a couple times, the Injustice. I don't know how many of you guys play video games. I know Q does, and I don't know Mike.
I played Injustice Fire.
Yeah,
so
the first one.
The Injustice video games, like the main storyline, and especially in the first one, the whole idea was that Lois Lane was killed. I think it was by the Joker. I might be wrong, but Lois Lane is killed, and Superman just goes fucking berserk. And so that's
punched a hole through the Joker. He just punched a hole through that mug and flew him up in the air and dropped him like he wasn't nothing. Yeah, and Superman's the main villain of everybody. He's like fuck everybody. Batman, he just fucking beating up people. it's wild. It's fun. They got inspired from from probably a lot of Justice and comic books from this from that game, from this movie. Of course, when Superman bodied the Justice League, probably the best scene and still in the movie. I mean, like, come on, man, that shit is fire. He had bumped Wonder Woman into the concrete, son, like rise up, like come on, so that shit's fire. I love it. I love it.
Oh yeah.
Yo, well, Perez, that makes sense then because they kept saying that Lois Lane is going to be the key to something. Like they kept saying Lois Lane was going to be an important part, but I'm like, how, Sway? Because Lois is barely in the fucking movie. You see her walking in slow motion, putting coffee on the damn thing. Yeah. So how is Lois Lane like all of a sudden the Sarah Connor of this shit?
Yeah.
That's Superman ploy right there. You know what I'm saying? He was about to body Justice League till Lois came over with them titties. Like, he's like, oh shit, let's just go. Let's just get out of here. Leave him alone. Wow. You know what I'm saying? He just flew away. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, he would have bodied everybody. He was burning a hole through Batman. Like, oh shit, this wasn't in 2017 time. He was like laser eyeing his chest. I'm like, oh shit. If it wasn't for Alfred building, like, I made these so they can absorb energy. If it wasn't for that, Batman would have been fucking back toast, son. He would have been back toast, medium well, like put a fork in him, like yo. So it's good. I don't know if y'all talked about this earlier. Did what y'all think about the Snyderverse? You think it'd be more, and do you want to see more? But I'll let Anthony go first. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good, man. It's just the nature of doing this with any sort of lag or delay, and all of us wanting to say something. It's going to happen. But I mean, I think we all talked about it. We all would love to see a Snyderverse like continue on, right? Because that's like Blacktastic Media said it first, but he was just like, there's got to be a deal being made this weekend with the positive, reception to this film. Like it would be stupid on Warner Brothers side to not do something further with Zack Snyder after this movie or continuing on this version of the universe. And I know whenever you get back to finishing it, there's an epilogue. There's a last scene, the one scene that they added on, which is where that Jared Leto scene is, and it sets up more, bro. Like you're sitting there like, holy crap. Like that's why I said earlier, it's like they either we got our balls tickled and we're never going to see the future, or they're just they're setting up for something really exciting. So I am very curious to see where they take things moving forward. I also wanted to mention, because it is getting a little later, I do have to start wrapping up soon enough. I've loved doing this with all of you guys. I wish Q you could have joined us earlier, but I've loved that you joined us at all. But one thing I noticed that none of us talked about was the way better use and just a lot more screen time of Jeremy Irons as what's it called?
Alfred.
He was a far better character and given so much more to do than in the previous film. I loved seeing him interact with the Justice League throughout the course of the film, and that last, like the scene where Superman lands and he's just there fixing a car and he's just like, oh hi, like,
Master Kent. I love that part when he said Master Kent. I was like, that made me laugh. That made me feel good inside. I was like, oh yeah, I feel good. I was cheering in this movie. I was cheering. I felt good. You know what I'm saying? I felt dark. The whole pacing of the movie, it just was. I was glad to see this filmmaker see his vision brought to fruition for us all to sit back and enjoy it. I think it's no better time for everybody, especially the times we live in now, just to sit back home and watch a 4-hour Justice League movie and say what you will, you know what I'm saying, like it or don't like it. I think that this is his vision. I'm glad to see it. But will we see more from Zack Snyder? I really don't know, man. I really don't know. He went through a lot. There was a lot of tough things, Ben Affleck drinking himself to death. It was a lot of trouble, the things that was going on with the production, and to see it come to this, which is a far better film. Say what you want. The Three MacGuffins is a slow plot point, but my God, man, he directed a film. He had the time to do it, and it didn't look like it was little studio interference. He got to do what he wanted. So, like, I'm proud to see it. If Zack Snyder make a Justice League 2, of course I would see it. But if he's done, I'm happy with that too. So.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure.
I would.
So, what were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just going to say about Alfred that you touched on it. I thought in this film they made him fantastic. I love the fact that he's not just this butler for Batman, but he actually was fixing the ship. He was fixing the car. The guy's got multiple talents. Showcased him.
Right.
Yeah, no, they definitely utilized him in this movie. What about you, Rashad and Blacktastic? You guys have any thoughts on Alfred in this movie?
Yeah, no, I mean, piggybacking off of Mike, man. Yeah, Alfred definitely had more character here, and you could see the chemistry between him and Ben Affleck. I mean, because half of Batman's characters is his relationship with Alfred, that father-son relationship that they have, and you see more of that in this movie, and I appreciated that. You know what I mean? And Alfred, he's almost like I don't want to call him like another Jarvis, but he's that handyman that Batman can't live without. He can't find his socks without this guy, like Michael Keaton said in the original movie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Nice.
Definitely.
Yeah.
What about you, Blacktastic?
Alfred was off the hook, man, and he provided a lot of the comedy in the movie too. Alfred was funny throughout the whole movie. He was witty, smart, intelligent, and had charismatic character. I loved him in this movie.
Yeah, for sure, man. Well, listen, guys, I've had an amazing time talking to you about this movie. I'm looking to do this more often. I'm going to be doing one. It's a little late, but I'm going to be doing one very soon for WandaVision. I'd love to have you guys on. Just going to talk about the season. I'm going to be doing one for Falcon and the Winter Soldier when that season is up. I just like to do these spoiler discussions where we can just all kind of sit around, talk, get a bunch of different faces here all together, get to intertwine, get to know each other a little bit better. You guys have been,
and Kong getting beat up next week. King Kong gonna get beat up next week.
Wow, that's
so listen. Let's flip a coin. Let's flip a coin to see who's gonna host the live with Kong and Godzilla.
What y'all want to do?
Godzilla.
I'm ready.
Godzilla, man. Right here. Black Texas, that was up. Godzilla, saw y'all that
Godzilla.
Shit on that fire lizard.
Yo, well,
he got nuclear breath. He got nuclear breath. A dinosaur with nuclear breath. I'm out of here.
Well, who's gonna host it? Who's gonna host the live?
I don't know.
Down, bro.
I'll host it. Whoever wants to. I'm down to host it. I'll set it up like the fight. I set it up like the ESPN fight. Yeah, whoever. Yeah, whoever.
It comes out what? The 31st?
Yeah, about
31st.
10 days.
Yeah, I requested
10 days. 10 days.
So I can watch it as soon as it drops. For sure. I'm super excited about that. Something else for you guys, just everybody. I got to see my review for I can't say anything about it because their official review can't drop till tomorrow at noon Florida time.
If you like it or not.
But I got to see the new upcoming Bob Odenkirk movie, Nobody.
Nobody.
It comes out this week.
Okay.
It comes out this weekend coming up, and it's kind of like John Wick. It's kind of like a more comedic version of John Wick.
Better call Saul guy. Yeah.
I can't give you guys my review yet because the embargo doesn't lift until tomorrow. I got the early screener, but I'll tell you this.
Okay.
It's pretty fucking good. It's pretty fucking good.
Hell yeah. That's all I want to hear. I want to see that one. Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Mike?
I was just about to say I spoke to Dave Interpreting the Stars, and he was saying it's pretty much Christopher Lloyd going around with a shotgun. I was like, I'm down for that.
Todd Brown? All right.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, man. It was a quick 90-minute watch, and it felt like it felt like a quick episode of television, but like with just all you need to know. Like it's kind of, it reminds me of that first John Wick, where it's like, you know, like you don't need that much story.
Okay.
It's all about it's mainly about the action. You get enough story. It's fun, but it's like John Wick, but with more comedy interlaced into it. Because you know, Bob Odenkirk is great with that. But yeah, my review for that drops tomorrow. But real quick, I just want to thank all of you guys for joining. I want to thank anybody who watched, whether you watched it live, whether you're watching it after the fact. This has been tons of fun. Obviously, we all loved this cut of the movie, and all can say that this is substantially better than the original cut of the film. I think at the end of the day, we all love these characters and love the way that they were represented in this film. We love the way that characters like Cyborg were able to shine, and it really having, you know, I think for, you know, I know it means the world to Q Reviews and Rashad and Blacktastic, but for everybody, it should mean the world to be able to see a character, a black character, just have so much great storytelling in modern cinema. It should be normalized 100%. And sadly, it isn't. And to see that 2017 version, I will 100% always be on the side of like Joss Whedon deliberately did that. He deliberately took out Cyborg's thing. And
they like each other,
anything that we've heard about him maybe being a little racist or like having some sort of abuse, it's 100%. But there's no question about it. But either way, loved having you guys on. Loved talking to you guys about this movie. It was a great time. I just want to open the floor for each of you guys really quickly. Plug anything you guys got coming up. All of your links are down below in the description box. So for anybody who's watching and maybe you like Rashad, maybe you like Blacktastic, maybe you like the Z Review, maybe you like Q Reviews, all the links are down below in the description box. Please, they got tons of great content. I'll go down the line. I'll say all your names, and let's start with Rashad. Go ahead, man. Let us know what you got working on, where people can find you, all that stuff.
Yes, sir. Rashad G Reviews, YouTube, sometimes Instagram, and mostly Facebook. But coming up, I have a retro review for Rocky 4. So me and Mike from the Z Review have been collaborating on the Rocky franchise. And so, yeah, we've done Rocky so far. 1 through 3 is already on the channel. And I'll be dropping the review for Rocky 4 either tomorrow or Tuesday, depending on how lazy I am. I'm dropping that soon. And yeah, so far, that's all I got. Oh, and then also Snowfall. I'm reviewing Snowfall.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm caught up.
Oh, you caught up, Q, my man.
One more episode. I just gotta watch.
We gotta talk about that shit. Yeah, so I'm reviewing Snowfall, and I'm all over the place. I review some shows and movies, and sometimes political stuff, social stuff. It just depends on what kind of mood I'm in, what I feel like talking about, and I just get it out there. So yeah, man, come check me out.
Cool.
For sure. What about you, Blacktastic?
I just finished recording my short story, Handsome and Pretty Part 3. That's going to drop Wednesday, 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. I'm having fun doing just a little voice acting of short stories I wrote like 10 years ago. The full crew, we did a big part of Sarah today. So everything that was shot in California today is a wrap. I'm going to fly down to Portland later on this fall to finish the film. And Sarah, man, you guys, you all know you're getting an early screening, so don't trip. But yeah,
no doubt.
Again. I fell behind schedule, but it's coming out epic, man. It's coming out epic.
Oh,
super excited for that, man. Yeah, looking forward to that a lot. Mike, the Z Review. Let's hear it, man.
Yeah, well, firstly, man, thanks so much for having me on the live stream. First time ever doing one, so pretty cool to be on with you, Rashad, Blacktastic, and Q. Joining a bit late, but pretty cool to have Q here. So yeah, coming up, I've got Alligator from 1980 with Rashad. That's dropping this week. Awesome movie, by the way. And I've also recently just teamed up with Blacktastic to talk about Class Act.
Wow!
Shit play.
Okay, goddamn.
Yeah, film I loved from my childhood, so it's gonna be cool to see that one again this week when I get a chance to.
Okay.
And I just talk about a lot of movies, a lot of Back to the Future stuff. That's kind of my niche, I would say. So yeah, I'm sure Anthony will have the link down below.
Oh,
for sure.
Nice.
What about you, Q? Let's hear it, man.
Oh man, you know what? I'm just getting back from fighting Jason. Whooped his ass. Now I'm back. You know what I'm saying? And, you know what I'm saying? Stretching out. I'm the only person that live. I live, so it's like I ain't gonna spoil the movie for you, but I get out of there.
Yeah.
Everybody else, well, Yeah,
Good.
you know. Yeah. Well, you know, Jason ain't got shit. But as for me, you can find me at YouTube at Q Reviews. Right now, I'm working on a review for Creep Show 2. Thanks for the ride, lady skit. Should be fun.
Nice.
So that should be a fun one. Got some editing to do and some other projects, but yeah, been a little busy, but you know, I'm getting back to it. But yeah, this one should be a fun one. And then I got to catch up on. I haven't watched Falcon Winter Soldier yet. Probably gonna talk about Snowfall since I'm finally caught up. Thanks, Rashad G. I've been sleeping. Yeah. That's about it, man. I'm doing a review for this Justice League too, man. I really dug it. So and thanks for having me on, Anthony. And yeah, find me at Q Reviews. Thanks so much, man. It's been awesome.
Absolutely. Well, guys, please, the links to everybody is down below in the description box. Please go give them some love. As for me, like I said, Nobody review coming out tomorrow. Movie comes out later this week. I also have a review coming out. My next collab review will be for War for the Planet of the Apes with Trav Tries. Then I'm doing Superfly, the original Superfly that I recently did with Rashad. I'm doing that with Dave from Interpreting the Stars, so that should be very funny. And then after that, you guys can catch Rashad and After that, you can catch Rashad and I together on my channel for Finding Nemo. So we got plenty of different kinds of movies coming to the channel as usual. And I'm also currently in the middle of working on about a close to 9-minute supercut video. So for anybody who enjoys my supercut videos, I got a nice
I'm a
long
big fan of those.
out.
I'm a big fan of those.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to make, very time consuming, but I'm looking forward to it. So, all right, guys, going to wrap this up. Thank you guys all for watching. This was a ton of fun. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.